Well, yeah, but you're on consent, so that's.
Right. We don't have anybody here either. Why are we having this meeting? Wow.
Okay, let me look. I think we're signed in. Let's stand
Matt,
by.
he may be here. Brooks?
Yeah, we're on YouTube. We're live.
Oh, let's get this bad boy on.
Oh yeah.
Yes, we're ready?
No,
Not quite yet.
I just
All right.
put it away.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Go for it.
All right. It's 4:32. I'm calling the meeting for Tuesday, the 25th of February, 4:30. And there aren't too many people here so far. Johnny McLaughlin, Val Oliver, and myself, myself, and I. So, are there any changes to the agenda that we want to make before we go into it? No. Then can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
All those in favor of approving the agenda?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Aye.
The next would be public comment, if we had any public comment that had to do with something that was not on the agenda, we would hear it now.
We have 3 people. No, we have 3 people now, so I'm just telling you, you must come. Okay. We'll see you soon then. I'm on TV. Bye. She's coming.
Is that Abby?
So, the next, we can't do consent.
No.
We can't do consent with just 2 people.
No.
So, Kevin is here. Why don't we skip to the, may I have a motion to skip to signs? Just so-
Motion to skip to signs until we have some responsible members show up.
Right.
All those in favor?
Consent with, may I have a motion, Johnny, to switch to signs? Because we don't have enough people? All right, that's a yes from everybody. Good evening
Good
on this
evening.
lovely day.
The SAC is here representing. Okay, number 1.
Maybe we can swear you back in.
One time only?
Like the goalie.
Number 1 for Eldridge is approved with comments.
All right. Motion to approve per sign advisory comments.
Okay. All those in favor?
All of them or one?
Just
No,
number
the
1.
first
One at a time.
Okay, thank you.
The next one is,
Numbers 2 through 5 for, those are for Marine Home. Those are on hold. We lacked a quorum for them this morning because Paul couldn't sit on it.
Motion to hold.
all right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. He says
Number,
aye too.
Yeah.
number 6 at 7 Union was approved with comments.
Motion to approve number 7.
Number
I mean
6.
6, sorry.
6. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And numbers 7, 8, and 9 were approved as submitted. Just so you're aware, the skating club at the various locations, it's kind of the same that they've been doing every year. So it's a temporary thing. You'll see them come up. Otherwise, those 3 were all recommended for approval.
Motion to approve 7, 8, and 9 per sign advisory committee's recommendation.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
you.
Kevin.
Good luck.
Yeah.
You need my haircut? I just had a cut.
Do me
Take care.
Bye-bye.
a favor. Can you text Diane
Yeah.
and tell her that it may be a very early meeting so she doesn't go off and get dinner and I have to
Yes, I will.
pull her? Tell her we'll do it back. Thank you. Okay. So, the next one, we have to wait for her to come for old business.
She's here, but you don't have a quorum.
No, I was thinking Abby's not here yet.
Yes, yeah, we'll wait for Abby.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, actually, oh,
No,
pardon, Madam Chair, she doesn't have a quorum.
she would if it was Camp, McLaughlin, and Coombs. So when Abby comes.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, excuse me.
Yeah, that's
my,
right.
my
I was just waiting
apologies,
for
yeah.
her. And actually,
So why don't we hold for representative?
Motion to hold,
Old
section
business.
5, old business for the arrival of another member.
Right.
So there's a quorum.
yes. Okay. All those in favor of holding 5, which is old business until we get another member?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that's a unanimous too. And my generation is
Yay!
Well, in spirit.
Apparently nobody had spirit today and decided just to not show
Where's
up.
everybody?
Yeah,
I mean,
right?
where is everybody?
everybody is somewhere else. It's school vacation.
Oh, I know, I've been speeding through the intersections, it's crazy.
So we can go back to those?
Yes, we'll
So-
go back, so,
We'll go back to the
yeah, make a motion to go back
motion
to.
to go back to old
Okay.
business.
Motion to go back.
Aye. All those in favor say aye.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. So would you like me to?
Well, let's just everybody get their papers, then you can begin and tell us what,
Thank you.
I think you just held for
So,
review.
John, you didn't Mullen for, this, did you? You didn't Mullen, you didn't, okay, so John isn't on this.
So then you don't have a quorum because
He
I'm not
didn't-
on
Oh,
it.
you don't, yeah.
he didn't Mullen, McLaughlin and Watterson?
TJ did, but he's not here.
No. Oh, I thought with those two names after the word
Well,
Mullen.
I had asked John, but he had not, and
Did.
TJ did, because I have
Okay.
the paperwork.
So we don't have enough,
We don't have a quorum for this.
and we don't have a quorum for the next one.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, and you're not going to be here next week, right?
she didn't listen to 8 trips.
Right. But the next one after that, I also have.
Did that?
I'm on the first one on new business.
How can we do the next one?
Because nobody's sitting on it yet, we can do a,
Oh, all right. So, the next, have you got 8 over there, so we can start, we can do 8 for you anyway. Because there were 2 different
No, I'm on
applications, there was 6,
Oh,
and then there was 8.
no, 8 you passed already.
We passed 8, okay, then that's it. Are you doing My Generation Energy?
No, but,
she's Doris's, the first one's go do it.
Okay,
8. This is a new application, has not been heard.
oh, I didn't even see that, sorry, I'm
That's okay.
just being a little feeble-minded here. Okay, tell us about their house.
so this is, for Doris Strang on Trip Drive, Dead End Street, black roof. She already has, solar hot water on one of the roofs, then they put an addition on, and she'd like to put, as you can see on your sheet, she wants to put, solar around the hot water and then on another roof. The solar hot water roof is facing away from the road, you can't possibly see it. The other roof you can see, the other roof you can see from the side, just the profile from the side, not right on. But again, it's full coverage on the roof, and the roof is black asphalt.
It's on the old house,
No, this is her house that she rebuilt when her house burnt down.
yeah,
And this is their private street.
Oh, I know, I was their
Yeah.
mailman for
Yeah.
25 years, I know.
So I think it's
No, that's why I
fine
wonder
with me.
if it's,
Oh, north is the front of the house. North.
it is, I wouldn't think so, but it is.
Did you wanna look at the, up here?
Yeah,
Kinda
you,
dark.
you won't see
Yeah,
it from
yeah,
the
it's
road.
too
No.
dark.
That shot is from the
TJ's
back.
here.
And there's,
Oh, look,
TJ's here.
Thank God.
Yes.
Way to
so,
I'm going on, I'm getting little tidbits from Val on this, and I'm thinking it's okay, but I'd like to hear the rest of the board.
Johnny, what do you think about Doris's,
On Strang,
yeah,
all right, number one, representative for the owner says it can't be seen. Now, you know my policy, and I've been out this house many times, and you can see the roof from the road, okay? So, I'm just saying, you can see the roof from the road, so every time you say something can't be seen, and I go, look, it can be seen. So, please don't say it to me. No, leave it.
Okay.
It's fine. We can take care of it, you know?
Sorry, is the north
Yes.
on Trip Road? Is the north, is the front of the house on Trip Road?
Yeah.
faces, it says north, but it really faces northeast, and it does, it faces directly out onto Trip.
No, we're not putting solar on that roof. We're put-
That's my question, thank
Yeah,
you.
the solar's on the back,
Yeah,
On the
yeah.
back.
facing away from
Gotcha.
Trip.
So it's here,
Yes.
You see the,
and the barn is,
kind of where the arrow ends, the barn is
It's
on the left.
connected to
Yeah,
it, yeah.
Over there.
yeah.
okay, gotcha, thank you.
Motion to approve.
Oh,
It meets the requirements, everything here is approved.
that's,
All those in favor?
aye.
Good. There you go.
Warming up to that.
Thank you. Now that TJ's here, can we hear the other one?
Yes.
Yes, we can do 6 now, because he's here. Right.
So I just have one question for Karen. The submissions you brought into the office today, were they for both applications or just for one of them?
They're for both.
Okay, so I'll need another set for the other one, because I just have 4 for one application, just so you know.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah.
that's just,
So I
Here you
asked,
go, Johnny.
Thank you.
okay. So you guys will wanna keep this for the next application as well, all right?
Okay.
You can throw it in.
Oh, you can throw it in there. Scrolling maze.
All right, so this is basically what we discussed last week.
right, and I ask if you can consider both of them at the same time, because they are, it's the studio and the house, and they are one system that is connected. And you asked last week for a landscape plan to block the view from the road with trees or bushes. And you also asked that the array on the main roof be consolidated so there's no gaps in it. And so we've done both. As you know, Ben Champo is a landscaper, so he's got access to whatever for trees. And he put together this landscape plan.
The L1.
Yes, yeah. L1. And then you also have the plan, a revised plan for the array on the south-facing lower roof, which everything now is covering the roofs.
What did he use for screening, did you say? Did you say he?
This page that is an extra page shows his landscaping proposal.
Tell me just a question.
So it's right up there.
Wouldn't it be easier, rather than all this stuff, to put a ground solar system in, rather than trying to hit the roofs of all the houses?
They actually don't have the space that they wanted to give up for it, because they wanted to do, this one that you passed already, the 8, and then this, and there really wasn't any good location for it.
it's hard to tell when you drive by where their land
Yeah.
ends. It looked like that would be a simpler, cheaper way to go.
I
But-
know.
Am I on this?
Yep,
No, he's
No,
not on that.
he's not on, okay, so it's Abby,
No.
TJ,
And you,
Lee,
Yep.
that's it.
Abby.
Sorry, I'm really into this kindred spirit oak. I've never heard of one, and it looks very cool. Now, what, it looks like a pencil. Where is it though? Existing horse chestnut, existing black tupelo, whatever those are, or tupelos. Anybody? Tupelo?
Tupelos,
Yeah.
Tupelo.
they got,
There's
Branches
a lot
that-
out in Quidnet.
yeah, and the branches twist and turn
Do they screen?
in
In
the
the summer.
summertime.
Can't make this stuff up.
But there's photos of it from the road now,
Which is,
that you can see it in the winter.
yeah, you can definitely.
And they still have the wooden roof, right?
Yeah.
TJ,
I support the application. I think it's appropriate, due to the limited visibility provided by the screening. And I would also mention that this is not a high-traffic area. It's the end of a cul-de-sac in a subdivision off Milestone. And with the provided and proposed screening, I find it appropriate.
okay, Abby,
I don't know, maybe go to somebody else.
Johnny's on it, right? So just us three.
Yeah.
I would, I think, go with TJ this particular location because I think he's right. I think, however, I think it's getting to the edge of the amount of solar panels around. They are obvious to, or become obvious to people. And I'm hoping in the position that they're in, they're not gonna pick up at night or in the setting sun, and become very obvious. But I would be willing to try them in this location, being that it's a cul-de-sac, and they own all the houses down there, and they have to swear they'll never sell them.
They have to take their solar panels with them.
Be right. So now it's up to you, Missy Bissett.
Yeah, well, I'm okay with the barn. I'm just a little worried about coming in the driveway and seeing it right there. Added screening, what does that say? I guess it's screened enough, okay, I'll go along with it.
All right, can I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve. To limited visibility.
Okay. Thank you.
With the screening staying.
Yes,
Perpetuity.
Perpetuity.
Thank you.
Did you wanna see the other application as well? Did you approve both of them? Did you approve both of them?
which,
Was the barn separated from the house, or?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm okay with the barn, so if we
Yeah.
just did the house, I guess. Do you wanna make it your thing for both?
Yeah, let's make that motion to apply to both of the special applications.
All right, thank you.
thank you.
Madam Chairperson, I have a question.
Yes,
1 through 11 are all solar.
yes,
Are you gonna do, if it's for one property, and it's got 10 on it, you're gonna do one vote to cover all, or you do individual?
no, I think, well,
Yes,
we'll have to see what the,
it's all the storage buildings at Sun Island, so they're all those long skinny metal
right, I'd like,
buildings.
Right, but all of it, yeah, I'm just thinking, are we gonna question every one of them, or just make it a automatic copy blank?
Well, let's look at one and see what it
One at
is.
a time, okay.
No, just one. Let's look at the first one and then we can see.
So, point of clarification, so number 7 has 3, that's where Dennis's office is, and then the number 5 it's where all the storage units are at Sun Island. So you want to look at the 3 separate ones for
Gallery.
7?
I'm trying to catch up. Right. Number 8, is that what we just done?
We just did number 1 on new business, 8 Trip Drive,
Okay.
and now we're on the Sun Island fuel.
Okay, I want to catch up on it.
Okay, so Kathy says one of the applications, number 7, is his office building. So we should
There's-
probably look at that and then look at one of the the
Right.
middle things and call it a day.
Right, so number 7 is, if I can pull it up here. I can, well, anyway, I'll do that in a second. Two, and then, sorry. So if you look at the locus map in the front, I have sectioned off, as A, so those are the 3 properties that you're gonna be looking at for number 7, Sun Island. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Jesus, 444 panels? Holy, that's one side,
That's what,
one building.
my,
Okay,
So
so you
what-
wanna present this? This is
yes,
like
would you
a
like to present it?
friggin' solar
Central.
for the island.
Yes, my name's Andrew Wade with My Generation Energy, and so we're starting with 7 Sun Island Road. The proposal is for panels on 3 of the buildings. Building A is the main office building, 148 panels there. Building B is the long storage or commercial building to the southwest corner of the property. That has 444 panels proposed, and building C has 270 panels proposed. One thing I would like to bring up, we did note black solar panels. However, I think in this application, in my opinion, based on the pitch of the roof and the color of the roof existing, that a silver frame panel may be a more appropriate application. You'd be seeing the edge of the panel because most of them are fairly flat roofs. But I would like to throw it out there as a potential change as opposed to noted black solar panels.
why do you think the silver edges is a plus?
It would match the roof, existing metal roof that's there, which is like
The light gray?
a light gray, exactly.
Except the roof of the office is black.
And the panels themselves are black, right? Or would they be light gray?
The frame would be a light gray. The
but
the wafer within the panel would be a darker, closer to a black. But on those buildings, so yeah, actually, we could do both. The main office, that I believe that's a new roof that's dark. In this overhead, maybe a little bit older, but it shows a lighter gray. So if there's anything visible that you thought the black panel would be a better application, we're certainly open to that. We just had a system. The reason I say that, had a system that went through historic in Chatham with the same type of flat metal roof, and they requested the silver framed panel that matched the existing roof and building. That was great.
So what's hard is we don't know what that looks like. If it's just the trim and
Right.
the grid is silver, but the rest is black, I think that draws more attention to it.
How much
And
is
we don't typically ever,
allow the silver?
right, so
Right.
I am interested to see what they look like, but I'm not familiar with them.
Sure.
How wide is the silver edges?
The frame is about 1.5 inches.
So there would be 1.5 inches and then 1.5 inches, so they would be 3 inches between the black panels.
The frame of the panel is about 1.5 inches. So
Right.
on those roofs that are flat, you
Right.
wouldn't actually see the top of the panel, that the actual active wafers that are dark. You would just see the silver frame. So that's on those buildings that are on the exterior, and then when we get to the next property, I think it applies well to those buildings because they're so flat. The only time you ever see the front of the panel is from the sky.
But those buildings, the ones you're talking about that we're not reviewing yet, the 5 or 6 in a row, those are 1 story. So I think you will see them. Whatever we pick, I personally think they should be consistent, and I'm hesitant to approve that without having seen it.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would like to see a panel or what it looks like, or a photograph of ones we have consistently not allowed the silver edged panels.
Right.
At number 1. Number 2, I think this is, I don't know what the square footage of 448 panels is. Is that the whole length of the roof of the building?
Yeah. Well,
What about this one? Look at that.
there's 862 total on these 3.
Madam
Are they
Chair,
selling energy now? Is that what that's all about?
This system,
Yeah.
this system would backfeed the utility.
So it's not just to power the structures there and the business, it's to actually manufacture energy.
Correct. Most of the power will be going off-site.
So that's something that we had talked about as a group, and we haven't really investigated too far. We were going at one point to try and figure out how to figure that out.
Is it going back
I
into
think they
the
got a
town of
rebate on their
Nantucket?
bill. I think it's fine design.
As of, it would be going back to
I know.
National Grid.
Energy.
To
To
National
National
Grid.
Grid, yep.
Okay.
We still, us electric users, still pay more. Our electricity is not reduced because they're getting
Yes,
solar
brand new.
power on their grid. That's been very clear if you read all the sleazy information that comes up. So you either pay the same or more technically on solar power. I don't know, I think it's a fantastic amount of solar power in one location, which if everybody in that place does it, it's, to me, it's too much. They don't look as if they were for individual use of the building. It looks as if it's a commercial project. And I think it's something that at least I have a question about, is the use of those buildings in the commercial thing. And you say we haven't finished our discussion on that.
Right. In other words, well, this is a little different because it is a commercial industrial area.
Yeah.
But with houses and things, we want to know the minimum amount needed to run the house.
Right.
As opposed to just an all-out
Thing.
yeah.
So, Johnny, do you have any opinion?
Yes, this gentleman mentioned when he started about seeing the silver on these. Right? The general policy of the commission is not to have any silver showing around it. So this page in the back here, the last page, shows no silver. See, they're lined by silver, right? Silver is not approved by this board.
Right. Yeah, and that's why I mentioned in the proposal that we set forth is a black solar panel. Is an all black solar panel like you see
Right, but I mean, how much
there. However, I was just mentioning the silver as an option because this is a commercial application, not residential, and because these are already silver metal
I'm sure.
roofs, as an option, if you thought it was more appropriate to see a panel that matched the roof, especially on a flat metal roof, that when you only see the edge of the panel, to have it match what is already existing.
You
So
have
we could,
solar on what building,
in this photo, the two on the south,
Yeah,
right?
and the south side of the main office building, sort of in the center to the west side.
That's what they're applying for. They don't, you don't
That's-
have them.
That's what we're applying for, correct?
My question on it is,
There is solar
you got
on
A,
the,
B, and C
Yep.
in the plan, 3 buildings.
correct.
Well, what are these here? You got A, B,
That's
C,
the
D,
next-
right up to G.
That's the next application. That's for the property to the
Right over here.
west.
I can see the 3 you got there, okay?
Yep.
Now, where are the new ones gonna go?
On the next lot, the next
Over
parcel to the
that
to the
one
west.
right
Oh,
there.
no, the next one.
That was a old, yeah.
I don't understand it, you know? You got 5 buildings there?
Well, and then some on the side too.
One second.
Have you got?
I'm frightened by the whole application.
Yeah, I'd like to have more
I
information.
mean, I drive out there at least twice a month, and, to pay my bill. I like to deliver it by hand. But, so I often see these long buildings, and I know it's a commercial area, but in reality, I'm not sure what that's going to look like, especially in silver. The roofs are silver, right? The roofs, the
Are gray.
corrugated.
That's
Silver.
great, great.
Yep.
So, for me, it's the vast amount of them, and, there'll be over 1,000 by the time all those other buildings have panels on them, maybe several. I'd like to do a little research. What was the array at Bartlett's farm? How many panels?
They had hundreds.
It's got
No,
500
Those
and
are ground array though.
That is a ground
Right.
array on 3 different levels. And it's, I believe, it's either 240 or 440 total. And they are set back in the woods there,
They're set back far from a street
right,
in
at the
the
beginning.
field, yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me why you are putting solar panels on the north side of these buildings.
Because they're so flat that even on the north side, they are going to produce at a fairly high rate, over 80% effective based on.
Madam Chair, I was going to say, to Val's point, if for some reason this energy was going to good use for something on Nantucket, I could see doing it. But if it's for their personal gain, I don't quite understand why we're ruining like a whole area.
Well,
for-
I think you're right. I think we would like, listening to what the commissioners have said, I believe we would like some time to study this more. Nantucket is not as big as the mainland. And when something of this size goes up, particularly with the thought of the solar panels they're going to put at the airport, that we have people live here. There are houses, residential houses in this neighborhood. It isn't purely commercial. And I think it will take some more study. You can give us information and we can study too, but it's a huge amount of solar panels in basically quite a small area as compared to what other places are.
I completely understand. It would be one of the larger, if you put these two together, it would be one of the larger projects on island.
Or the only project of that size.
And it's simply to generate energy for the grid. It's not something they need to run this business.
As it is right now, it is to produce electricity, green electricity, and the person that's owning the system will receive payment for that electricity by selling it to the utility, also participating in some of the state programs. You're talking about, I guess, disturbing land. I mean, they actually incentivize rooftops as opposed to putting it on fields so that land can be used for other things. This is really already disturbed land, so we're just putting on top of the buildings. So we're not really changing the property in any way.
I think though you're missing the point. Like, we struggle with solar panels because of what we are, you know, a historic landmark, and we try to minimize what we approve enough to run whatever it is you need to run, but we're trying to not open the door for massive solar commercial generation.
Sure. We could certainly, if the requirement was to be used on island, I'd be happy to look at a community shared solar project, and that the power that was produced by the system be used by people in town who can't otherwise put solar on their roofs.
I think that would be very admirable, and I do believe that, isn't there, don't the soccer fields, don't the families go and play soccer on the
Yeah.
other side? So, I mean, it is, and you go to the storage unit, and that's there, so it's, I mean, I do actually ride around there, so it's not so commercial that it's,
Right.
and it will definitely change that neighborhood, and I think the only way that we would be, would be if something for the community was to.
I would want to understand that though, how that works.
Yeah, and to see
Would
whether
be
it's
interesting.
possible to do that, other than, I know it has been mentioned over the last few years about putting a commercial development for the island, but it has never come to fruition or gone further than the statement that it would be a good idea. I think if you want, if you would, in your layout there, color the buildings that are going to be solar with some sort of color, and color in squares the residential houses that are there. So we have some idea. It's hard looking down, and this has been going on for some time, what is commercial and what is residential. Do you see what I mean?
Sure. I do have a layout of the panel. I'm not sure if you have of that in front of you. There is another building to the east that already has solar. If you go down the road a little bit further,
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
next,
but how many? A couple.
it looks to me, 100-ish.
And we
I
have
don't-
one
I don't
house
know.
on one barn out on Old South Road, but it's down Egan Lane, so it's not right there in front of you.
Would if it would help if we went to the site and brought out a few panels and we put them towards the edge of the roof so you could see, what they only sit a few inches off the roof, and I think they're so
not
flat that is it an aesthetics
I'd be in
thing?
favor of that. I think that would be helpful, but I also think that the building A where the office is, I don't think that will be so in the main view. On that, what is it, west?
It's not actually even on the part where you
Yeah.
walk into the office.
Right, yeah.
That's the up and down route.
park here.
Yeah.
And so I'm saying that these aren't as visible as the.
But what we need to know is what buildings are 1 story and what buildings are 2 stories.
Well, these are all the storage sheds. They're only about, 12 feet high or something.
No, those are, I think, those are 2-story. The ones in the picture. We
Yeah.
haven't gotten to the storage sheds yet that are to the west.
Where are the storage?
Well, you can see them in one picture, right there.
5, see the 5 in a row?
Yeah, I'll go down here, so.
There.
There's
Oh.
5 and there's some on the side.
Mhm.
I think we need more time than to give you an answer tonight as to yes or no. We will. So, if I could have a motion for further information and study, perhaps it would be a good idea.
So
Madam
moved.
Chairperson,
Yes,
I'd like to give my opinion on something. Solar is basically a coming thing throughout the world, all right? And where it goes is up to any board or commission that has control over it. And in this case here, I'm looking at this one here, that you have two choices in Nantucket with solar. It's either Nantucket or Sconset Historic Area, which is the old areas, or the outside the old HDC. It's the two choices you have with it. To put them here, this is a commercial area. So you can't say, well, it's a commercial area, you can't have them there.
No, we're not saying that. We're saying they are not just applying for enough to run the business. This is gonna be a solar commercial venture, because it's gonna be on all those other structures too. There'll be thousands of panels.
and we are responsible for what our island looks like, whether it's old historic or out in the boonies. That is in our HDC saying to maintain the feeling of Nantucket. It doesn't say the only place you're gonna have the feeling of Nantucket is downtown.
Okay, 1, 2, and 3 have a total of, I think, was 800?
862,
right.
yeah.
Now, the others, you take those 5 there, the bottom one, and to the right of that, inside the yellow line, that other long one, just above that.
Over to your right a little.
The bottom one there, yeah, that one there. Those two, look as though they're close to being the same length, you know, there's quite a bit of difference on the third one. But to say, those are gonna be coming in on the other ones, right?
No, he has this, it's one per building, but he gave us the total for this, those 3 building is 862.
Right here. So this is 148, this is 444, and this one is 270.
I guess 800 and something, right?
862.
All right, my question on it is, any commercial area designated by, we'll say zoning, one of our local laws, if they apply for it in a commercial area, right, that's where commercial businesses should go. That's why we have zoning for that. And to me, these are approvable the way they are because they're outside the old HDC, which is our most important thing that we have. And be a little more lenient outside, there's no limit you can put up. Someone can walk in here and say, I bought 50 acres and I want 3,000 of them.
No, they can't. They can't do that.
Well,
They can't destroy the island. We are, as the HCC, is to protect the island. They want to put up 3,000, 4,000 solar panels. That is beyond maintaining the feel of the island.
I agree.
I have the thing, I will give you a copy of the HTC chart. Anyway.
A copy of it, I got one.
I'd like to make a motion for you know, to hold this, but I think putting up the solar panels so we could see, you offered to do that on A, B, and C, or just?
Depends how much time you want to spend out there with it. But no, we can put up a few.
Are
I
they
mean,
all-
obviously just a few
are
to
both
show
those
where
roofs,
I
Are
think
all
that would
3
be
of those
helpful.
roofs the same pitch?
the building A, I believe, is a steeper pitch,
Yeah.
which is why we only used the south side.
Okay.
The other 2 are fairly flat.
Why don't you give us a couple on the north side of the?
I think
Aegis?
south side would be the only area that'd be visible from. Let's see.
The road.
From the road would just be the south side of those buildings. There's some photos of those that we took from that street
Right.
on the 3rd page of the package.
So just give us a couple of, on the south side of that, and then one on the north side what it would, even though, because of the way the roads go in between those lots, they are all public roads. So the view thing option becomes viable at that point.
Okay.
Because, I would have to look at a site plan to see what roads are roads and what roads are driveways, because it's been sort of developed, so.
That's my motion, anybody can add to it if they want.
Madam Chair, on the
Yes.
motion, go back to the whole shot, please.
Okay.
Right there, right there.
Okay.
Right, hold it. That one there, right there on the bottom,
Oh, he's got a
right, in
plan.
that area there, you should put some in here, a couple in here, and put one down this end here, and we should hold it for a viewing before we make any other decision. Let's go look at the areas. Is it
Well,
all trees and brush in there? What is in there now? Part of this, right here, all
Yes,
of this here,
this is
that open land?
this is the next application, but I know when that property was built and when those storage units went in, the surrounding areas were required to be asphalt roof and a little bit taller than the storage building themselves, so that the storage buildings would not be able to be visible. So that, although that's the next application's 5 Sun Island Road, those storage building roofs, by request of those buffered buildings around the edges, should be minimally visible, if at all.
What is on that land right now?
That's just pavement and then storage buildings.
No buildings?
Just storage
It's all
buildings.
storage, one
All those are
storage
all,
building.
all the
Okay.
gray that you see there is the roofs of the storage
They're all
buildings.
built.
All the black is
Okay.
asphalt.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to hold us for revision and the viewing.
So Abby's got one, what is,
It's the same thing.
it's the
that's
same
fine.
thing. So all those in favor?
Aye.
What's the best way to schedule that?
Yeah,
Well, you don't have to be there, we just have to go by there.
could you tell,
Didn't you want him to bring some panels and put them up on the roof? Was that an
Yes,
option?
He's thinking he has to meet us there.
Oh, well, he
yeah.
comes from off island, so he's gonna
I
have.
wouldn't be probably installing them to 120 mile an hour wind code the first time if I was going to put one up and take it away. So I'd probably go up, put them there, have you come by, look at them, and then take them down.
Yeah, so just check in with me and we'll make the arrangements and I can reach out to the
140
board.
mile wind code. Yep,
And then we'll,
Call the office and let her know, because she doesn't notify all the members,
sure.
or email, that it's ready for viewing.
Okay.
Thank you. 1 through 11, right?
yeah,
yeah,
thank you.
Thank you.
Motion for 1 through 11.
The only one that we
Yes.
approved is Doris Strang, right? Sally?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
all right. We got Sarah Alger. Did you get her? Did you text Diane?
Yeah,
Oh, good to see her.
Hi.
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 This is 11 Squam Road.
Yes.
And you want a demo?
Yeah, there's a building that, they're sort of connected, both applications. There's a building that we're proposing to demolish and replace with a new building.
Can we get your name for the record?
Bob Palladino. You may want to check for yourselves, but the building that we're proposing to demolish is not visible from any public way, including the water and the road. And the building we're proposing may be, the roof may be. So I don't know for sure if the one we're proposing is visible
Well,
or
do you
not.
have the age of the cottage?
Do I have the what?
Age?
The cottage was built in, I'd say, the 60s, early 60s. It's,
We have
It's-
to have it, you can look back up on the building or in the HDC, but we have to have the date of when the
okay,
building.
it preceded the, I'm sure it's older, I mean, how far back do the HDC records go?
I can't get this.
Further than the house, that house goes.
Okay, all right. The issue with the house is that it hasn't been used for over 20 years, and it's sitting at grade. The floor joists are rotted. It's filled with mold and vermin, and is, in the opinion, it's really a tear down. It's not something that the clients will ever use. They won't go near it.
It's like a vicious night.
It's just in really bad shape. It's been abandoned for years.
You understand
I have
that
been.
in order to claim black mold and all that jazz,
Yeah.
that we have to
don't
have
know
an
how to get back
engineer
to it.
that doesn't work for you but works for the
Okay.
town,
Here?
certified that fact,
No,
because
just bring me back to
old
the
buildings
application.
can certainly
This didn't happen last
be restored, and
Oh.
Well,
they
Maybe the
can be
canteen.
moved,
Yeah.
which is our,
this building can be moved. If someone would like to move the building, they're
Yeah.
welcome to move it.
that's how we
Typically, we do a demo as a demo move to give
Okay.
an opportunity for somebody to look at it and take it and to keep it out of the landfill.
That's fine. That works. Is that, something's put in the newspaper and
Yeah.
people are, that's fine. That's
all
fine.
right. And this is the building that you wish to demolish.
Yes,
So we would have to have an age and a certification of its deteriorated stage.
do I have to go that far if I'm proposing that it be moved?
So if somebody wants to move it, that's fine.
We do
Okay.
like to know how old it is, but.
I'll find out, I'll fit the age, certainly.
So, and now we have your new building.
And this is the new building.
Okay.
Okay, we need to close out this one.
Oh, I'm sorry, we have a motion?
What are all these other buildings? Are we just?
There are a lot of buildings on this site. There's a residence, on the, southeast corner
That
of the
big,
site.
the big one?
Yeah, that's the main residence, and at the northeast corner is a guest house. And then there's a little building next to it that's a generator shed, just filled with a generator. And then, the building on the, the southwest corner is a big garage. And then the building that we're taking down is another building. And what we're proposing is, it was a residence, it had a full kitchen, et cetera. And I cannot call it, what I'm proposing, a guest house, because what we're proposing does not have a kitchen. And I'm not quite sure how to characterize it. So we are, in addition to this, we're going to planning to determine what this building is and what, how it
It's a
fits
house
into the
without a
scheme of
kitchen.
things.
Call a studio?
Well, it's a studio with 3 bedrooms, is that?
It's a house without a kitchen.
Well,
You can't really call it bedrooms.
You can't have a bedroom unless it's a dwelling and a kitchen, so.
Well, I guess the problem is that they feel that, and this may not be true, they have a building that it was a residence with 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms that is on their property, and they feel is grandfathered in, and they want to replace it with a like building. And we're just trying to sort of navigate how this is defined, if it's possible.
Okay,
So my first step was to come to you, and then also to planning and see, to see what HTC's reaction is to the building I'm proposing, and then also deal with planning.
Okay.
TJ,
So we have not closed out
Oh, I'm
the
sorry.
demo move yet.
let us have a motion for approving a move demo with certification up to its age.
I'll make a motion.
Oh, all those in favor? What?
I'd like to speak,
Yep.
I'm still here. What you say?
Nothing.
Go ahead, John.
Right, I believe this structure I was on the commission when this was being built. And, a couple of pictures on the roof pictures are the old 6 inches, so now it's 7 at minimum, so you're gonna tear it. I have a curiosity question.
Uh-huh.
Is the bomb shelter still there? Because you built this back when Kennedy was alive.
I haven't seen it unless it's hidden somewhere.
John, you met Tom Evers?
Yeah, you go in, it's on the
You
right.
go in, Palm Beach County where I grew up, they have a bomb shelter on Peanut Island, just north of Palm Beach Island, there was a Kennedy bomb shelter.
Yeah.
I didn't
I'm
think
just
he had
saying,
one out there.
Give me the history of it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not aware of it.
You needed it. So I, that's my motion to, okay, the move demo.
Okay. The procedure for the, is there something, so at what point do I put something in the newspaper? Is that,
Sooner rather than later, because there's a time element. You have
Okay.
to advertise for so long.
okay, I'll do it right away.
All right,
They have a form.
Okay.
Val, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
If you have a building which is grandfathered because it does not conform to.
I don't know the answer to that.
If they tear it down to the ground, does grandfathering still last, or do
I
they
don't
have to
know.
start again?
That's a zoning thing.
That's why we were gonna go to the other
Yeah.
commissions. And figure it
I
out.
don't know that.
Is the building that we just okayed to be moved demoed, is that grandfathered into the,
We really
Yeah,
don't care.
mean-
We just need to see what this looks like and go from there.
Yeah, I don't, I mean, it's there when they bought it and it's been there for years, so they just assume that it's grandfathered.
Well, you must
11 Squam Road.
check out there's a hitch on having a building with no kitchen in it.
That's right,
It has to have bathrooms.
yeah. Well, that's a whole nother avenue that we need to,
Slam it.
oh, yeah, I know.
You got it?
I just was looking down to see what was.
Okay, so let's look at
Anybody in
the,
there?
No.
do we have plans for the building?
$1950?
Yep, according to the National Historic Landmark, it's a contributing structure. And this is 1950.
Contributing?
That's what it says C for contributing, in 1950. C11 right here.
What does that mean?
That means you have to do a little more.
More research, yeah. It was built in 1950. So you can speak with our preservation planner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is Sarah Alger, how is Sarah Alger,
She's, I just called the owner and said, who owns this building, this property? And that's what they told me, Sarah Alger Trust.
oh, she's the
She's
trustee.
She's their
Trustee-
attorney, she's their
Trustee
attorney.
for
Yeah,
several buildings in
For
there.
this building?
Yeah.
She's not in favor of it, okay, I just wanted to make sure. Some angry neighbors or something.
so let's see.
So this building at the moment has no kitchen in
It
it.
has no kitchen, it has a sink and a refrigerator and a microwave. And that's, and I'm not, I mean, that's truly their intention. I
Well,
mean, I
that's
know-
not gonna change the exterior
No,
of the building.
Well, I can give it a stab.
Okay,
I mean, I think it's appropriate for the area. I appreciate the height, which is 22.4 is the highest gable. I think the massing is additive. And I think the it's not overly fenestrated. The front elevation has some long windows, but initially I'm okay with the design.
okay. TJ,
I appreciate the quality of the design, I think
Thanks.
it blends well with Squam, and I appreciate, like, Abby said, about the height. I have a couple of issues with the fenestration. I wonder if the E-type cross sash windows exist on the property today? And if not, can we change those windows to something, you know, I know the pane size is in keeping, but I wonder why the choice of it.
I just wanted more light in the rooms. I have no issue trying to either reduce the size of them or spread them out in such a way that they're sort of more in keeping. They are, to answer your question, there aren't other windows on the property that look like this.
Yeah.
There may, on the main house there is, on one bay. But I understand what you're saying, and if,
My only other point here is, you know, I suppose even if they don't exist on the property, you know, it may be acceptable, it's tucked away under sort of an eave there, but on the C-type windows, those casements,
they're awning.
Yeah, so all their second floor windows are
I
crank out.
wonder if we could do a cottage sash on those,
Yeah.
like a 3/6 or.
In the dormers?
Yeah, I mean,
There's-
you could make it a double hung, something more conventional.
Well, it would be, I mean, they're this big, so you'd have these really sort of strangely proportioned double sashes in that.
Yeah,
They're not,
they'd be like classic though, kind of quantity, east end of the island. It's more typical than putting in these awning casement deals.
Right.
Awning casement will not fly. Val,
I agree with what's been said.
Johnny,
I agree with everything Mr. Watterson said. I believe those windows should be made double hung.
okay,
Get rid of any casements whatsoever, should be disappeared and become something else.
okay, sorry,
This is not a perfect window schedule here.
is it,
It doesn't explain everything, but some of it, you know. Question on the 6/9. That's almost ceiling to floor.
yeah, they're tall.
And if you could make some more like the A's here,
Yeah, I can do
over
that,
6,
I can do that,
get rid of the
I can do that.
the 6/9.
The elevation
Now, where
supporting.
is the front
It is
door?
though, see,
The front door is right in between the two 6/9s.
it's just not shown.
Between 2 6/9.
Right
The double A door, see it with
Oh,
the,
but I thought you meant these two. Oh, all right, could that be changed to a more appropriate door, 6-panel maybe or something like
Well,
that?
it's a cottage, I mean, I'm trying not to make this formal,
No, it's a living quarters.
yeah,
The reason that we
What's there
started
now
it
has
years
a
ago
9-light.
was they're trying to keep an appropriate door, and is there any delivery service, anybody looking for an address, they would walk there, and they'd notice it's a Nantucket style door.
uh-huh,
And different ones that are available, you can stop in the offices and see what they have to show you in the guidebook.
okay.
That's my comment. Thank you.
John, the cottage they're taking down has those kind of doors. I think that's probably why he
I
proposed
just
it.
want it informal,
Yeah,
it's
okay.
intended to be as
Oh, that's a
informal,
Yeah.
9-light door,
good
yeah,
Dutch door.
and 2
Yeah.
panels.
yeah,
a
because
solid Dutch door,
Well, it's
or with the
solid
lights.
below.
we
and-
don't know
Lights
even
above.
that it's gonna be a house or
Well, I'm
bunkhouse.
pretending it's a house. He's calling it a cottage.
It's people living, are gonna be sleeping. there,
Let's
so.
move on.
then
All
I
right,
have,
well, I guess we have, do you understand what they want
Yes,
about the windows?
yes, double hungs in the dormers,
Right.
the C windows, and then revisit the tall windows in the front facade.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to hold for revisions.
Minor.
well, yeah, I'd like to just say one thing, okay?
Oh, yeah.
On the, north elevation,
Yeah,
your 2A windows, is that a bay?
it's a little bay, there's a sort of a nook inside, and it's a little bay that sticks out maybe a foot.
Is it grounded?
It's not, I
No.
mean, it's not on a foundation, it's just sort of applied to the side of the house and floating them. Right here.
Where's the
That's
side
on the-
angle? Where's the side? This is it?
No, that's not it.
It's on the north.
It's not the north, and you're not seeing it because I didn't draw it.
Is it on a big plan?
It's on the plan, yeah.
Well, that's what I am interested in as well. It's one of our prize policies.
Right, here, I'll see it.
Okay.
That's right.
So,
There.
Abby, you have the motion to hold for
Yeah, a
revisions?
little-
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. All those in favor of Abby's motion? Aye. Very good.
Does this, do I need to come back for this, or is this something that I submit and?
You
it's
come
a-
back.
You
I
come
come
back.
back, okay. Thank you.
So the next one is 33, no Nantucket.
Is Ben here?
Gabby,
Not on school
Yes,
vacation?
are you gonna view this?
Kids are on school vacation.
I don't know, I'm just, what was the motion? Just do-
The motion was to hold for revision.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay.
Hello,
How are ya?
Good, how are you?
So we're at 33 Nonantum. This house was built in 1991 by a very ambitious off-island designer who probably spent a lot of time watching Weekend at Bernie's or some other late 80s movie. The house is incredibly unusual, kind of modern cubist style of sorts. And we are going to, I am going to continue that language with some filling in of some negative massing, kind of increasing window sizes to actually take in the water views that this house dominates with. And we're also adding a new gable on the east elevation, again, to actually be able to see the water facing east rather than these tiny little square windows. And that's it.
Hey Ben, is this the
Sure.
house that has like a walking path right past it? Looks like you're turning in their driveway, but no?
Nope, there are no public routes near this house. There was a paper road that my clients have purchased, so there is no public access around this building. Doesn't mean you can't see it,
Well,
but
it's already there.
if you see it, you'd say, holy geez, what were they thinking? It's a really bizarre one. The other thing, the one elevation you can see very easily from Nonantum is the north elevation down the driveway, which has these 2-car garage that you see. We're getting rid of the garage element from this building altogether and adding double hung windows. So we're trying to make the street side, which again, you see down the driveway, but we're
This
kind
you're
of trying to take
leaving,
away.
you're not tearing down the building. You're going to
No.
do stuff to
Yeah,
it.
yeah, we're just kind of bringing it into the 21st century.
Which one is the front door?
The front door exists on the west elevation, and you actually have to go into this kind of negative mass space and then take a hard left, and that's
Where
existing.
it says E?
No,
It's
well,
the
that's where
A,
you go in, but the
The
door
west
itself
elevation, and that's really where it is
is
currently.
here. It's just a,
It's bizarre, but it's the way it is kind of now. But we're filling in that west elevation. There's all this negative massing that you can see in the as-built, and we're filling that all in. Yeah,
yeah, there is a walking path there.
it's not a public one. So I think that.
Oh, I think it's the house next to it.
Yeah, this is a public one.
Yeah.
But this is where we are.
Okay.
So like if you stand at this beach, you can see this plain east side.
Right, that's Fisherman's Beach.
Well,
Parking,
I guess
right?
if that's Fisherman's and that's Stones, I guess that's Fisherman's, okay. I like all Stones Fisherman's.
I think what he's doing is making improvements to this existing unusual structure. I'm fine with it.
I think it all worked out then.
Thanks.
Madam Chairperson, do you have photos?
Yep,
Right
right
there.
there.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's all natural trim, sand tone sash, natural roof.
let's put it this way, anything you're proposing is not making it work.
It's a weird house, I'll tell you, it's a weird one.
Is it dark in there?
It is currently, yeah. It feels like a cabin of a boat, which is odd because it should be open and airy with this kind of modern cubist thing. It's,
Okay, Johnny, what have you got to say?
Yes, what elevation has the front door?
the front door is currently tucked in, right in here, in this A door,
Right?
and that's existing. I'm changing kind of the way that this negative mass looks, but it's tucked in there, in
And it's
behind,
already there.
Okay.
right into this.
Where is the, you have a number one awning window.
Those are
all
these
awning.
existing square ones. There's a whole bunch of them. So here they all are up here, but they're all trashed, and we're replacing all these because they're all rotted out.
Yeah, but you're adding some, right?
Well, these two we're just replacing, so they're there and there. There's an existing number one there. We're adding a couple up here.
Okay, and you got three here.
Yeah, we're adding all those because they were filling in. So there's a couple existing.
That's what I wanna see, bro.
We're getting rid of quite a number of casements, but there are still a few that are being replaced or reused.
What are these two adds up? Is the addition on it?
This is the east elevation, so that goes to this view, and this is the south elevation. Actually faces the ocean.
These planters,
No, it's like this recessed
recess?
thing in the wall.
Thank you.
Abby, you all good?
I'm in awe of the revisions.
Alrighty, can I have a motion to approve, if that's our wish?
So,
Motion to approve.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Thank you very much.
thank you. You're back on in a bit, right, Ben?
Yeah, I know.
All right. The next one is 50 Dukes Road.
50 what?
Dukes Road.
Oh, sorry, wrong one.
deck and stairs.
All right, would you like to tell us what you are planning on doing?
Yes, so on the west side of the garage, we're planning on adding a deck and stairs on the exterior.
Your name for the record.
My name's Jewel Hall.
On the west side, you said?
Correct.
Okay. And that's it?
That's it.
Deck and stairs.
Oh, okay.
Stairs and deck.
Okay.
Let's go back. That's it, the last one,
Oh,
was over here.
this is the last one.
This one.
So there's existing north elevation. So you're putting all those stairs in.
Yeah.
TJ,
Find it appropriate, it's fine.
Yeah.
you have two. Johnny?
I'll take a look at it.
He's looking at the wrong plan.
Plan, there were two of them here, okay.
That's further extra. That doesn't work.
Here's
I
pictures
can't
if you
sign it.
want.
Right.
I need running ink.
Here's the some more pictures, Johnny.
Okay, thank you.
Is Burke here? I saw, there he is.
Where's the front door?
The front door, so there are two entrances at the moment. There's one right here, and then there's one on the east side.
East
Right
side is
there.
here. Which one is the front door to the house?
So it's a garage, so it's not a house.
This is the front door?
That's the door that's on the east side. That accesses the lower level, and the one on the west side accesses the upper level.
Thank you.
Motion to approve is submitted.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, the next one is Mark.
Madam Chair, Mark is on his way, but if you wanted
Alright.
to
Well,
take.
we have a motion to hold it for representation.
Okay.
Motion to hold 16 for representation.
Okay, so the next one is Brooke.
There's that.
That's the new plan.
Alrighty, Mark, you can go, because she wants to go.
Okay, motion to
hold.
go back to the one.
Unless you can approve this really quickly.
Okay, let me.
Thanks for warming up.
I'm just gonna hold. John,
Hey, guys.
John,
State your name, please.
don't open that plan.
The young lady has a question.
That's the wrong plan.
Here we go. Thank you.
There's a
Go ahead.
small
Yeah,
ones.
what would you think?
This is Mark's.
Mark Voigt for the town of Nantucket. 135 Pleasant Street garage. We're requesting a demolition move off.
Where's it going, Mark?
Well, we don't have any takers up to this point. We haven't, sometimes you might get contacted while the application's pending, but
Burn it.
Somebody made use of that.
if, yeah, I mean, I think we'd like for somebody to reuse it if they're willing to come and get it. And we have, just for the dates on it, have an aerial that's not shown on this map.
What are they
in
gonna put there?
1998, and shows up at
That
2003.
round building that you saw in the newspaper.
What round building?
The Coliseum.
There.
Oh,
Called it a
God.
Coliseum, I think. Motion to approve?
Is it a demo
It's a move off.
or a
demo.
move off?
Move off or demo.
I have a question.
Yep.
You said move off the demolition garage. I have an open question. There's a big building sitting next to this up in the air.
You mean that HDC approved building?
Yeah, it's
No,
just
no, it's not approved.
Yes, we did
It's
approve it.
temporary. Temporary.
Yeah, so it is.
Not on the block. But yes, it's not in its final position, if you're asking. But it was HDC approved, not by me as the
You
applicant,
take
but
it back to whoever's in charge of DPW and mention the fact that they are trying to expand the, more property use of the salt marsh. And they have a parking problem there, so, but that, if you take that down, put that right there, remodel that building. All they want is more room for the elderly to go and visit and do stuff with. And will you pass it on to down, look at it and talk with the personnel inside?
I think there's a large possibility of doing something in the future, because again, this is temporary. I don't know what's intended after this point,
It's god awful, 'cause
but we just moved
So,
it.
it is.
motion to approve this garage as a move off demo?
Yeah, I'm in favor.
And we have no thoughts of what's going to go there. They're not going to come up with some.
We don't have it, there are no plans to put something in place of that garage at this time.
There you go.
It's up for someone to ask. Is that, was that
You're
done?
approved.
Done?
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Madam Chairperson, I'm trying to ask this gentleman a question.
Okay,
The garage,
yes,
are they gonna tear it down completely, or are they gonna wait 60 days, see if somebody wants
they're
it?
going to do it on the
If someone wants, they need to contact our office. We would have to do certain things to get it done.
You have to
Be done
publish it in the paper, right?
We come to you first because we know that's the first stop.
Okay, so here we are, on to the next one.
Okay.
Whoops.
Anybody else want to?
Here's your next approval.
Yeah, yeah, I will. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Looks nice.
Hydrangea, thank you.
Thank you,
Oh,
John.
new, Chuck, Russian Chuck.
Okay.
Okay.
Sconset Advisory didn't meet, or they didn't have a quorum, but this is Holly's,
Holly's thing, where's
Yeah.
Holly? Anyway, Holly was the only one that was able, to meet. They did not have a quorum on Wisconsin. It's not appropriate on facade, too many windows on facade, like 61 windows, if consistent in application.
Which facades, it has too many, what?
It didn't say which facade. It just says not appropriate on facade, so whatever facade has a lot of windows.
Well,
okay, this is all the way
South.
at the end. Farthest back in the field.
And let's
South
consider the
is what
context.
faces the
Rick, I
road.
think it looks really good. Yeah, one thing, this is more of a jerk than I've ever been to yet.
Uh-oh.
Because I'm wanting to change, usually I don't actually ask you to change. But the sunroom could use a separate identity than the porch roof. If you protrude the sunroom like a foot or two beyond the plane of the porch roof, so that we see a hip line like that.
Okay, so I want to address that directly because
Good.
if you go to and I'm going to just use an in-town example on Vestal Street, right on the corner of Vestal and Quaker. Well, that's a Huntington, but there's also right across the street. There's another building where the sunroom is built into that front space, and it's like a 1950s cottage. That architecture is very common around the island.
I think I know the one you mean. It's the one down that Vestal Drive there, or before you get to it.
Well, it's if you're going to Mariah Mitchell, it's on your left.
Yeah.
And there's also, I think, one down on New Street.
So why don't you want to change it? Is it like a ground cover thing, or you just like
No, I just like the way it looks. I think that
I really think it could use a separate identity.
I think sticking it out will make this even more cut up than it needs to be. But if you guys all agree that that would make it look better, then I will stick it out 2 feet.
I like it the way it is too. What's the B door on the side, on the east?
The
Is that a door?
on the east?
Yeah, underneath.
Yes, that is tucked down into a basement area. It's a basement access.
Yeah.
Huh. It's unusual.
Yes.
It's been done a few places.
Basement access.
That's the basement access.
Abby,
yeah, I'm
all right, let me get,
and I'm a like it. No, I don't have any comments. It's nice.
It's tucked away. You're never
Yeah.
gonna see it.
No, end of hydrangea. Sorry.
I have a remark, but can you guess?
Are there ganged windows?
Yes, all over the east side.
Go for it.
I
Well,
would like to
this is a
see
sunroom.
on the, yeah, but this isn't the sunroom, and this is the sunroom, and those two up there in the second floor. How long is the building? Only 24 feet. I'd like to see if possible on your, east elevation is perhaps separate those two windows under the peak of the gable to spread them out.
Let me see.
Oh, those are kitchen windows, I think.
Let me see.
Right there?
Yeah, those are the kitchen windows.
And what about here?
That's a landing upstairs on the second floor.
Well, then bring in the skirts a little. You don't need either separate them or bring them in. I think I'm just making my own.
Let's look at the locus map.
Okay.
It's all the way back there. That is a private road on a private lot. No one's ever gonna see that.
Okay. Okay, Johnny, have you got something?
Yes, on the east elevation, number one, diamond light window.
Yeah, there you go.
The question is,
It's all the way to the back.
what is this?
That's
above the door?
That's a door. That is
Circle.
shingle. It's a shingle wall. This is a door and a stairwell.
There.
This is a window up above
Windows
that. The
up to
landing for the
Skinner's
stair is right
driveway.
there.
Third way.
So let me
driveway.
is this not-
let me show you something, John.
All three of them about.
All right.
I know.
This right here. Where's the locus?
Right
That right there is a private lot.
Christ's sake.
Okay.
Skin property.
Yep. And that's you're never gonna see that elevation.
I have a question with that.
Well, you just
I
got
have a
it on the
question with
Google.
that, because you don't have the,
John,
this is what,
she has the aerial.
right?
That one, the road next to it is a driveway to Skinner's house.
Right, I know where it is. But, all right, now, this house is gonna go where? On that lot there?
Yeah.
Okay,
There's a driveway right here. It's a deer
that's Skinner's driveway to
Yes.
that one?
Yes.
Okay, you're right. Okay. Now, if there was an overall photo to the right of that, where it says sign in, okay, can you go over some more? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. All right.
All right, so do we have a motion?
Motion to approve is submitted.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Stay.
Thanks.
Or Deramore.
It's off of North Liberty.
I know where it is.
Oh.
I just was trying to think which was.
It's a crummy
whose
little
old house was
garage.
for Deramore.
Yeah, so if you're on Darramore and you pass Gingy Lane on the left, it's that left-hand turn into Darramore, and it's the second house in on the left. It's a big gambrel, and then there's like this little garage to the side.
What are we doing first?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, this is for Deramore, landscaping, retaining walls, and arbor. It is near the OHD, not in it. Plans.
May I speak to this a little bit? I think that the demo should come before this.
I know, I think so too.
Oh, okay.
Well, this is for a retaining wall.
But the demo has to go through so that the retaining wall can be proposed.
I went by the garage, it's a crappy little garage. Hardly worth saving.
Do you wanna keep those and under the,
Yeah, we'll keep this.
Explain.
there's a demo. And then here's the information for the demo.
Oh. Here you go, Johnny.
Thank you.
I don't think you want it.
Yeah, that makes it really-
I'm contributing.
This is the demo of just the garage, right? I'm not sure what, oh, this was, Maurice Modi's house. She has said, Holly, that the house is contributing 1937. The garage, the scope of the work is HGC survey attached. Did you get one? It says,
No.
that we need more detail of garage, height, cinder block foundation, doors, and reason for removal.
Okay, yes, it is a cinder block foundation, so that should tell you that at the oldest, it's about 1940-ish. Those are German clapboard. It's got regular 2x framing inside. And the reason for removal is because they want a yard. And right now, it's right up close to the house, and they just want more outdoor space.
It's fairly unattractive.
It's non-contributing.
Yeah.
Well, why are we hovering over it then?
Well, because Holly wrote up all this stuff, I have to address it. So, I don't have a,
And it's just outside of the purview of the,
OHD.
yeah, there's a blue, the blue line includes the house that's on North Liberty Street, but it doesn't include this house and everything beyond that.
Okay,
And
so what are you planning on doing? Is removal or,
so it's a demo move off approval, and we're gonna advertise it, but this is our first stop.
is it in good enough shape to be used?
It is, but whoever does it is going to also have to have high cinder block walls, because they're like, you know, the 4.5 or 5 foot stud walls. So it's going to be kind of a stubby little garage if they don't do that. But it's, I think it's usable. You know, the back part has been up against Manila's vegetation land for many, many years, so I think that part's a little bit rotted. So it's sort of, you know, it's probably 50-50, you know, I mean.
I'm telling you, it's fairly unattractive.
Look,
Okay.
it's non-contributing.
So,
It's,
can I have a motion? Johnny, have you got a thing?
You said one question. Mr. Wood.
We're not talking about the landscape now, only about the garage.
You talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Are you talking to me?
we're not,
Looking at the landscape.
We'll be ready for it.
I'm comparing this with this, you know,
Okay, hang on.
just trying to do my job.
we're talking about the demo of the garage.
This is all that's, this is
Those
what's up right now.
Girl Scout cookies, or
The
where'd you
demo.
get those?
From
The
Girl
demo,
Scouts.
this is what's up. This
I
is
got them.
next.
Good for you.
Okay.
That's-
Coming up, right?
Yes.
Take them.
Right, measure now or then.
I did.
Difference.
Okay, Johnny?
Yes.
Okay, motion to approve
The
the
arbor.
garage.
Oh, the arbor's not on here.
We're
No,
doing
we're
the,
doing
We're
the
just-
garage.
Just the garage for now.
Okay, what am I looking at here?
That's the next one.
Retaining wall.
Thank you.
Okay, all
motion
those
to
in
approve
favor?
the move demo garage.
Yes.
Aye.
All right, now the next one is the retaining wall and arbor. Wait, is it,
Okay.
the landscape fall off, so you have to have a retaining wall?
Okay, so here's the thing. When this garage goes away and when the concrete blocks go away, the neighbor's lot is about 2.5 to 3 feet higher. Right now, there is an existing retaining wall that runs along the property line, but it stops at that garage because the garage was built onto the property line. So when this comes down, it's going to have to get retained.
Right.
And so what they want to do is they want to have a cobble-faced retained area similar to what's there that continues around the back, probably like 10 or so feet. The photos, there is a photo of, I think it's visible in the garage photos that were just circulating. You can see there's a street photo, and it shows the existing retaining wall.
Would you
Is
mind
the existing
changing that?
made of concrete?
Would you mind changing that formation of rocks to something more Nantucket?
Well, it's supposed to be cobble.
Yeah, so, but could you just say that? I mean, if we're gonna pass
Did it
it,
not
we-
say cobble on there?
Well, these are polygon.
Yes.
So it does say on the site.
Yeah, what
on
is
the site
that?
drawing itself, it says cobble face, bluestone.
Right, we just have to
Yeah,
change
so
that.
that's all
this.
cobblestone. You
Do
can
you like
see
the
how it.
bluestone cap?
No, it's too formal.
Yeah, I think we go cobble top.
Okay, that's
You know.
great with me.
Well, let me,
See, there's
we'll
the
finish, this
cobblestone
makes more sense
retaining. That's
It goes
now.
uphill, or downhill.
Polly's remarks. It says, plans indicate existing retaining wall. Do we have photos?
Yeah.
Arbor should complement main trim of house.
see the little.
And she wants a topo. Who is the, who is next to it that has the wall? Is it 2 or 6?
I think it's 2. It must be 6.
Okay,
I'm doing an exhibit A without a cap of cobblestones.
And she must not have seen the pictures, because you would have seen that it's already there.
It's an existing cobble.
so where is it existing?
From here to here is existing. See I wrote
Yeah.
it in red. That's
this
the
is-
existing
And this is what you want to put in?
right here to here.
Yeah.
That length right there.
Which is presently the foundation of the garage.
Of the garage.
Yeah.
And your proposed arbor, what doesn't she like about the arbor?
I have no idea that it's there.
The moon gate?
Yeah.
Is there any arbors on the street?
Darrymore Road?
Yeah.
Cute
Out
as
there.
hell. It sure has moon
There's a
gates.
couple around the corner, but not on that street.
Doesn't mean there couldn't be.
Thanks.
Darrymore Road is
Yeah.
moon gate.
It does. I mean, there's branches
How
there.
cute
There's
can it be? Darrymore Road.
Yeah.
It's 6 Carolyn. Yes.
Would it make a difference if you get rid of, on the arbor, get rid of the cross bucks and use the horizontal vertical squares?
No.
it's gonna be up against a hedge.
I don't know that you see them, they're going to be
Yeah.
already holding. Abby, what do you think?
I like the whole application, except for I don't like the polygonal
Yeah.
masonry. I want the cobblestone, no blue cap. I did an exhibit A.
Can I
Okay.
make a motion?
Yes.
So motion to approve, staff for exhibit A, cobble facing, polygon, and, in favor of the cobble top.
Okay,
Aye.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So, I'll just put down as per exhibit A.
Yeah.
We better okay 19B because I just checked it off.
You should check off the next one too.
Okay. Did you
Okay.
sign that?
Yeah.
I love this house.
This is
That nothing
sweet.
is changing to the front house.
I-
Nothing. This is the back house.
This is one of the sweeter houses on Westchester. Is it Westchester?
Okay, Shab says that it's contributing. Please come back with alternate solutions. Bring back to Shab first. They all signed it.
Well,
what happened yesterday, because Brooke can't represent in front of them, because he's on it, is that they suggested an alternative if you guys weren't going to go along with it. So we wanted to,
They didn't, I don't have any alternative.
no, it's right, we've got it right here. Because it was only yesterday that we saw them, and they suggested an alternative, and we don't have to go back if we have the alternative, because they're the ones who said what to do. So Brooke has come up with option A is what you have, option B is what we have come up with to address exactly what they said.
What is it you're trying to do?
Just put a dormer in there.
Yeah.
We gotta get a bathroom head height in there. It's too short for me to be in the bathroom, and there's a bathroom there.
I didn't see this.
Abby, this is the one you and I went up Kite Hill and turned around in that yard and looked down.
Yes,
can
and
see
you're not
there's a-
supposed to be in that yard.
Yeah, but
I
you're
didn't
not
go.
gonna see it,
I know,
I don't think.
you can't see it.
And it has that cute little greenhouse in the back.
Who's, what's his proposition? Is this your new proposition here?
Look, virtually all it is this.
Extend the roof.
It's between, right.
Yeah, you're not gonna see that, definitely not.
Right.
And that, the gable end of that is, kind of tucked down behind that.
And you can't see it from Westchester at all, because it's
Do
behind
you
the
have-
building.
Here's pictures, you can see it.
Mr. to approve this without going back to Hashak?
If we change it.
If you approve, if you like what is here and you approve that, then we don't have to go back.
Well, this is the alternate?
No,
No,
that's
I
the
have the
original.
alternate right here.
Oh,
We wanna do what you
Oh, we
have in
want-
front of you, due to minimal visibility.
Where's the front elevation?
South.
Yeah, this is the front, it's not really the front, because
is
it's
the front.
right into the back of that front house.
That's the building back there. This is the building in front of it. That's
Oh,
this
oh,
elevation. And you can't see it from Westchester on the other side, because it's in the back of the building. It's going right here where the skylight is, and we're taking the skylight out, so it's in between the two pieces right here.
Okay.
And so this is Kite Hill,
Oh, okay.
and you gotta stop here.
Okay, got it.
So
Thank you.
when you could see it, that's why I took it all the way down as
well,
we
I'm
kept driving.
interested in what they had to.
We can see
what
it
the
right there,
alternate is.
that's it. But
Yeah,
you
where,
can't see both
do
sides
you
of
have a
it.
picture of the alternate? We
Depends.
Who knows?
What
Sometimes you
was
just
what
don't
were
know.
they opposed? Why
Because they
were
thought you might be
I
able
have-
to see it.
I have to ask my client.
So you thought you might be able to see it, but we're going. Really? You can't see both sides of it at one time, put it that way.
That's existing.
Where's the greenhouse is here, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
You
on the
remember
west
this, you remember who
elevation.
this is, Diane, the lady that lived there?
Do you mind if I continue?
Yeah, I'm answering her question.
Where is?
Okay, that's Westchester. I did not write that in, sorry.
There you go.
And so if
TJ,
look
you
at-
have a
Going back
thought?
behind this?
Yeah, that front.
I think it's a very minor application, and it looks like they're just raising the eave height on one side of that gable.
Greenhouse is going here.
Yep.
And I would be in favor of its approval due to minimal visibility.
Okay, I have a technical problem,
Okay?
is Hashab says they wanted to see
Abby,
another
can I have that?
proposition. And they wanted it to come back to them first.
If we changed it, if we don't change it and you approve it, we don't have to go back. That was the only reason. If we did something crazy, they wanted to see it again, but if we're not touching what you see, then we don't have to go back.
I don't, no, they said, please come back with alternate solution.
Yeah, we're not giving you an alternate solution right now. We wanna go with this, if it's minimally visible.
Right here.
I don't know what to say to that.
Right here.
I think they have
But
requested it.
it's a minimal change. It's in the back. It's not even to the, you know,
It's to the newer section of the house.
what is the date of the house?
I know, I don't have a
So,
problem with
so
it.
the original
Okay.
structure itself, which none of this change does not affect the original structure. The original structure was a one-story workshop.
Yeah.
And it was on the Sanborn 18 or 1904 map, but everything else up above it and out to the side
And behind
and behind it is well after that.
This is Carolyn Ward's house. Diane, you remember Carolyn Ward? The
Yeah,
cats. This is her little weld back in the back. This is her little place with all the cats and all that type of stuff is back there.
no, I just didn't want to cross ASHAP if indeed they wanted us to come
Only
back
if we
before we
changed it.
did anything. But I will ask, TJ, do you have any?
My only other thought is that instead of raising the entire plate, you could do it as a dormer, maybe the sheet pushed back 2 feet from the gate, from the end of it.
It's in the middle of the toilet.
Yeah, there is no room.
Nonetheless, I see no problem with it as presented design.
Right.
Abby,
I see it as a minor change.
Motion, anybody?
Johnny,
What? Motion?
No comment.
Val.
I'm good with it.
Okay, so may I have a motion?
Well, I'll make a motion to approve. Okay, John said it.
You do that.
Aye.
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 All right, so we,
Thank you.
Thank you.
all right, that is the dormer. Now we have 26B Mycomet Road.
Yes.
Whose house is that?
This is a Covenant home in the back of Kate Raphael's
Oh,
property.
okay. That's the one up the driveway?
Yes, which you can't see, but
No, you can't see it.
Yeah.
But it's been there for
except for
years.
Johnny. Johnny can see it from
I
anywhere.
can see everything, yeah.
Yeah.
When I do viewings now, I put
Here,
on them little
you can see it.
fine things.
Yeah.
That's how I do.
You get a drone? You should get a drone. That would be scary.
It's been there for as long as I can remember, actually.
Yeah. So that building, what's that? It is. It's an upside down house.
Go on that side of the
So you're adding to an existing structure?
We're cutting the roof off and building
Okay.
up.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Yeah, it's a nice renovation.
I'd like to think it's a slight improvement.
The souped up version, turbo.
Nicely done.
Okay, the next one.
Wait, John has
She got a one.
done what he's doing. Why?
He only has one eye right now.
I know. It'll get better.
Are you good with it, John? That,
No, it's a quick look, that's all.
My Comet Road,
Right.
all the way down here, private property, private property, private property.
There's no way in this world next you're going to be able to
There should be photos. I thought I had photos in it,
Well, you got a casement window here, that's why.
but you can't see it.
Don't say that. You don't know that.
This I do.
Okay,
Hang on, we've got a casement window issue here.
you know better.
I know, but you can't see it.
Why not? You blind?
we're just gonna lose. Okay.
I see what it is, okay. Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Abby's motion to approve.
Aye.
Everybody say aye, aye, aye. And so the next one is, Ethan's.
Motion to hold for representation.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Aye.
And the next one after Ethan is John Marash
Josh.
at,
Motion
19
to
Broad.
hold 22 and 23 for representation.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Russell is away, he just texted me, so unless someone else is here to rep it.
No, he's not gonna be here.
Okay. Motion to
Edgewater.
hold 24 for representation.
Wait a minute, I gotta get
22, 23, and 24 hold for representation.
Okay, What about Sparks Avenue?
What number was that, by?
22, 23, and 24 for representation, hold.
Okay, thank you.
here for something. Which one?
We just held 22, 23, and 24.
I'm here for 24.
Of course you are.
Of course I am. I can't get out of this room.
This is fast.
Motion to reopen 24.
All right.
This is
that's-
real simple. We're taking the windows and the trim color off this application, and we're just going for the roof, which is gonna be gray.
And plastic gutters. Private glass gutters.
Not going
Where?
anywhere there. I know that gutters are supposed to stay, my text just now, copper. But we're taking everything off of this except for the roof, so we can get the roof done.
Do you want gray? Is it color by?
What color's on there, Val?
It's this charcoal gray
Yeah.
RKO.
Charcoal gray.
Oh, charcoal.
So,
It's, pardon, it's architectural, so I'd have to look in the guidelines here and see if it's
I
approvable.
think charcoal gray is okay. It's that dark gray. It's all one color.
That's for the roof?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not talking about anything else. We're taking everything else off this application but the roof color change.
Whose building is that?
Nobby
it
shop.
was the Nobby shop.
Oh.
It always will be Nobby shop.
Sarah Alger's office is up there.
No, she's over on
Used to
Water
be.
Street.
Used to be.
North Water Street now.
So it's just the roof shingle.
Just the roof.
And it's already gray.
Do you want me to double check on the type?
Well, we're just gonna look up the color.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up the guidelines here. Okay. What? I thought that's what we had to. Okay.
Johnny, are you all set?
He doesn't, no, he wasn't. John.
Oh.
Everything is taken off of this except for the roof. They just wanna do the roof.
So charcoal
What color?
gray.
And we're looking it up now to see if charcoal gray is approvable.
For
And it is.
architectural.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay.
Okay.
Approved.
Just the
Motion to
roof.
approve the reshingling of the roof with charcoal gray architectural.
Great, thanks. We simplified that application. We're gonna color code everything else when we come back.
And so that is just the roof color. Okay. Approved as submitted.
Are we at 67 Sparks?
Yeah, actually, I'm here for that. For, Paul, he's away on vacation. It's for the Boys and Girls Club.
Oh, hardscaping.
Which one, 67?
67
We were
Sparks.
secretly hoping you were away on school vacation.
We're gonna
No.
finish way before, like 7:30.
No way.
What, do you think it's gonna be later?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
I think it's,
Except between
I'm
7:30
feeling like
and
a real
8, I'll get
quick.
more specific.
Oh, yeah,
in a
it's-
little bit,
we're
okay?
whipping through. If John
All right.
stays,
But it's-
stays with
Focus.
us.
Thanks a lot, sweetie, just wanted to let you know. Oh, wait.
I texted her when you do it, and she texted me.
Thank you. No, I just,
It's moving like a turtle case over here. We go down there and it gets stopped.
all right, so this is, Sparks Avenue.
yep.
So what have you done? This is,
What have you done? Thank you, Madam Chair. So, if you're familiar with the site, this is right next to the Boys and Girls Club. So the Boys and Girls Club bought these lots or this parcel, and it's for staff housing. And there's the one house that has been approved by HTC and it's built. You've seen it.
That's this one,
Correct. It's the one I think it's labeled
67.
Yes. So we wanted to just show you the larger plan for the subdivision. We spent a lot of time, really wanted to kind of work out all the details in terms of privet, parking materials, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know if this is the way that it's being presented now, is if you should consider it as like the entire plan or just for the individual lot number 67. I think the goal was for you to see the bigger picture no matter what, but as far as an approval, if you weren't comfortable approving, everything, we could concentrate it just to lot 67. That may be the better course of action, only
This
because.
is one behind your office.
Correct, yep.
So, the only thing I'm a little hesitant is, all of this hedge is gonna formalize this area, which has typically been wide open.
Mhm.
I mean, I
5
understand, like, for instance, I can see the backyard perhaps being privet.
Yep.
But along the street, I'd like to.
Soften it.
It's just an area that we're used to seeing, like, split rail and grass, or
What happens if you
even no fence.
What happens if you didn't have it there and you only had it out there on that?
No, I'm saying not along the street,
Yeah.
which is Sparks
There,
Ave.
and why go up here then?
And maybe not even along this street, just where their yards are for privacy. That's just my opinion.
Could certainly.
It's a more, that hedge.
I know,
Well,
I agree with
yeah.
you, that's why I was trying to, how close is it to the Boys and Girls Club?
Well, they're over here.
The
Right.
meaning, like, how close is the house, or how
I mean,
close is the
would
privet?
would the Boys and Girls Club be inflicting on their privacy?
No, not necessarily. I think the idea is the lot line is actually where that privet line is, which is is identified right here. So, no, they shouldn't. No, they shouldn't. And then actually, there's a lot of existing vegetation that they want to keep in its place. There's a lot of like scrub brush. I'm not an expert in the area, but they do want to keep some kind of buffer there. But again, the big thing for the big issue for us was just we didn't want it to be unthought of in terms of all of the on-street parking, the edging, the curbing, et cetera, et cetera. So we really wanted to lay everything out. Having said that, if you feel that the privet that's on Sparks should be less formalized, I can certainly bring that back to Paul and we can make some alternative adjustments. Because to your point, if I could also, to your point, is that the way that the privet works closer to the house is that each unit, it's actually a duplex, believe it or not, we do want the ability for each occupant to have like a fenced in area if they have a pet or kids or something like that. Having said that, you can see where that privet line runs parallel to the face of the house. So we could put a fence in that area. That's where we're planning to put it. The privet that's on the road doesn't have to be such a formal line, if you will. It could be something a little bit more fluid, softer, if you felt that was better.
Well, let's see what other people think, 'cause I've got a thought. Abby?
Yeah, I actually appreciate the privet because I don't wanna see the parked cars, and I think 5 feet is not, in your face privet. It's not like, Baxter Road privet. It's just 5 feet high, and I think now that it's going to become residential, I think you're going to want the privacy around that area. If I imagine it, across from the high school, and I think it would make it a little bit more residential for these people.
Okay. TJ?
I have no comments on the application.
Johnny?
Yeah, what material is this? Steps.
I think it's bluestone.
No. This house is existing now.
Correct.
I know.
Yes.
Okay,
Are we commenting on
Are these
the,
others
okay,
gonna have
right,
parking?
gotcha.
Yes.
It doesn't say on the application.
Yeah, I'm just seeing here, not there.
I don't think so, I think this is
Yes.
just a,
It's just this
Any
one
photos of these?
building.
I don't have a photo of the existing, but I can certainly get you one.
Will you submit one?
I did not submit one, but I
Okay.
can. I did not submit one, but I can.
Yeah,
Because this
submit
is
so they
all
have it
off
in,
to
much
go
rather
to
than hold it
the
up,
front.
Yep.
Stone steps
You have to
there.
have all the information, so. All right, thank you.
Concrete.
Diane, could I add, I didn't realize about the hardscaping. I would like to see something less hard around that area
alrighty,
than the geometric, bluestone.
right, my thought is that the whole thing should be more informal. It is across from the cemetery. William Street goes down like this. The school playground and whatever are there. And then you've got all the grass going up to where the gym is, and then you come up to the corner where the hospital things are. And this, to me, is the only place along that whole area that is so defined. And I don't think that that part of Spark Street should be so defined, that it makes it stick out. You have a walkway going between 67 and 69 with
Yes.
steps going down, because,
From the staff. So that
but do they need steps, or can it be?
it's actually, the topography drops about 8 feet, believe it or not, from the road elevation. The road actually slopes down, but there is an elevation change there. So the idea is that you really wouldn't really see it because it's buried between 2 layers of privet. But you know, I can certainly take all this back to Paul, and you can.
I really think it would be much more fitting in than quite so square.
Okay.
Okay?
Sure.
And so we have a motion to hold for revisions.
Motion to hold for revision.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. The next one is Marcia here?
Yeah.
Oh, good. 11 Center Street. Hello, hello, how are you?
I'm good, how are you? Marcia Fader for Sherburne Hall and the University of Florida.
Alrighty, I have a little information from Holly Bacchus, who is helping us. Yeah. If you are wishing to install Havac mini splits, it says, although placed at the rear of the building, it is visible. Every effort should be made to match and blend the appearance of the units. I know the need is there, though. The building gets hot. That's what she said. It's the University of Florida, and both the box conduits says there's seated natural to weather and screen units seated natural to weather. That was four guys on shaft.
There was an application on Still Dock behind the ice cream shop over there. I forget which number straight work it was, but on the back side of that building, the one that leans, there was a lattice enclosure, natural weather cedar, that really did went a long way to conceal the AC compressor. I think that could be quite useful here. Although I know that this area is quite utilitarian in this courtyard, it might help to have a little bit of an enclosure, such as the one over on the store.
I guess I have a few comments to add to help with the review here. I was not able to get to the HSAB yesterday. I understood the comments, and I've submitted photographs of the back of this building. But I thought maybe I went back again this afternoon, so I have some more additional photographs that I can hand down to Abby and John for you to see if the ones, because it's definitely a problem in that I need to explain first of all that I'm representing the University of Florida, and that building has many tenants and are condominium owners. I'm only representing the second floor condominium of the University of Florida, which is sort of the last on the block for that building. on the photographs I've just submitted back there, and I know if it's not a great precedent, but there are 6 HVAC units there, completely unscreened. There are 6 bulkheads. There are so many electrical units that if you look at those photographs, I am.
It's a mess.
I mean, it'd be
And
great
it's
if.
embarrassing
It
for
is
them
embarrassing.
to even propose to not screen it.
You know, it's just like I don't, and of course with the photographs I took this afternoon, you know, in the summertime, that is completely filled with cars.
Yeah.
It's the biggest chaotic parking lot you've ever seen.
It's a real shame
And-
because I just poked my head, I just happened to be walking down Center Street. Center, and, not Center, is it Federal where you look in the driveway and you can see the back of this?
Yes,
Which-
from across from St. Mary's
Yeah.
Church, you
Right,
look in and you
right,
can
look,
see.
I just looked at it and I couldn't believe what
Isn't
a
it
beautiful
Rose Lane?
building it is. It's,
No,
I
that's
mean,
the-
the 6, 7, I don't even know how many,
That's
beautiful
way over here.
windows in the back. I can't believe that it looks like a garbage pit.
And these, what are the size of these, Marcia? They look like they're much bigger than what's even there. We don't have a size.
No, they're about the 27-inch, you know, square. But
Who
they're
owns the
also,
building? Who owns the building?
they're all individually owned condominiums.
Oh, that
There
would
must be
hard to
somebody
clean up.
that's responsible for the physical building, whether the bits and
Well,
pieces of it.
there's a condominium association,
Yeah,
Sherburne.
well, then I believe that they should be responsible for doing this. And Val brought up, it looks like it's already done.
It is.
It looks
And
like
it has
what's
to be
already done.
changed.
No,
What-
I am
no, you're
only,
here
no,
for the
no, I am just here, as I said, all of those that you see, I have nothing to do. They've been there for a long time. I don't know the date of those.
No, but it says proposed location at where the existing is.
Because I'm proposing to put a similar size next to that one.
Oh, that's somebody else.
It has to
Proposed
be
location
covered.
of new, at location of the existing. So next to that would be an additional unit.
Well, somebody has to deal
Because,
with this.
because the only space that doesn't have HVAC is the large Sherburne Hall, the University of Florida Penn students and the Preservation Trust on the second floor.
So,
All those units exist, and we were trying to just cluster them, so went with an existing location to add
right,
another.
but I really think they should be screened somehow, whether they, as a group, come together and figure out how to do it. This is what's hurting my head. The Preservation Institute is asking us to let them put AC units in back of their historic building in historic town without screening, because there's already some there. I mean, it's like,
No, it's not because there are already some there, it's because there's no space to put screening. Those cars park right up against those steps.
But
you
if
could
you-
put a piece of fence in front of that. Or
Why should the
lattice?
parking of cars designate what we do in a historic building? Don't
Well-
have the cars come in if that's the only way you can cover it, but that's a
who-
mess.
There are so many owners here, we need one person to take responsibility for this.
Right, that's why I want the owner of the physical building. There
There
has to
isn't.
be some
There
sort of
isn't.
owner.
It sounds
There
like
isn't
multiple
an owner,
owners.
it's like taking a whole neighborhood and asking
see
the
if I can
neighborhood to
find
come in.
that.
There is
Yep.
an association, and, so what I'm understanding is that in front of each of of all the units that are there now, you are asking, because of this application, that we put a fence in front of them all.
Right, natural to weather.
Okay.
So,
I can
isn't that what
speak,
we-
I can speak for the University of Florida units that I'm applying for. I cannot speak for everybody
Val,
else,
look
but
up
I can
there.
convey
That's,
what
University
you've
of Florida.
requested them
The
to
whole
do.
building. The whole
But
building.
for the units that we're putting in those two locations, we can put a natural to weather picket fence and cover the conduit lines with cedar to weather.
looks like a free-for-all back here.
What,
Look
but
up here.
this is a good start, so she's asking to add units where nobody's asked before. You screen yours, and we should send them a notice,
But-
anybody who's in this condo building.
Marcia, up here it shows, this is all of University of Florida, and that's the back of the building that you're showing, this whole block. See?
The University of Florida is the second floor.
Yeah, but
It's
on the
not-
GIS, on the assessor's map, it shows that they
Yes,
own this whole thing right
And
here.
it's not true. I've gone
Well-
through that with the registry, and she said GIS does not represent the ownership in a condominium.
Well, it's
Well, if you could be a spokesperson
Okay.
for what you have to do and the neighbors, I mean, I think we need a spokesperson here to represent
The other neighbors.
Yeah.
That will give you all the.
I mean, I think the idea
Oh,
of having notice go to the
is it all
to the
the owners?
condo, which is being represented by the Frasers, because they have property there.
Right.
So I believe it would be Dalton Fraser who would be the person,
Thank you. I learned something
who's,
new.
I think, heads
Thanks,
off
Paul.
that.
It's a
Oh,
start.
very interesting.
It's a
But-
start to talk to.
But for
That's
me,
right.
I'm here for approval for those two
Okay.
units to cluster around locations of existing units, and
Oops.
we would put on our fencing.
Fencing and covering it with a cedar box,
Yes,
natural to weather. Johnny, have you got a suggestion?
I have a comment watching this. I've seen this building for 80 odd years, but anyway, new stuff is coming up. Those air conditioners that are here, I feel that this is a separate application. This is for this one building alone. And some of the owners in that building, that real estate, what's his name?
Fraser.
Pepper Fraser. He's responsible for this. He's on the board of directors, am I correct? Of the association?
I believe so.
Okay, if he is, then this should be held and file another application for this, for that one unit, because that's all that's owned by this association. The others aren't responsible, I gotta say that. What we should do is send out a letter to the association and tell them, that should be our shift, is to send a letter to the association, tell them they have to block them in, putting a 4-foot picket fence with a cap on 3 sides, not towards the building. It can't be visible. But like you see, that should start there. Get this one, if you're gonna approve these, or find what's best for it, then we should tell them, you gotta fence them in.
But at the moment now, it is being said that Marcia will cover the unit that she's responsible for going up with a fence, picket fence, and cover the mini tubes going up that belong to the University of Florida.
Yeah.
That's what, the rest of it will be our responsibility to track them down and make them conform with our new mini.
Can I add to that, that the is it called a conduit? What's it called that comes down this side? That
Mini split.
mini split. See how it continues it looks like it's continuing like a corner board on the building on the left? Could that be boxed in to look like an extending corner board, so it sort of reads as
What?
something architectural instead of a?
We did that at a building down on Broad Street. Remember how we went around and tucked it up so it,
See what I mean?
Yes.
See how this corner board comes down the side here?
yes,
And then they want the mini split going down there?
right.
Could that be boxed in to
Yeah,
look
she
like a
said
corner
that's
board?
what they were gonna do.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Well, the usual protocol when we have a formal, structure like this is to make it look like a rain meter best you can.
Right.
Make it come from the return down to.
Right. I mean, in this case, it would be to weather.
Yeah.
It would not be treated like trim, a
I think
painted
in
color.
this case, it should be painted.
I mean,
Personal opinion.
It's going
I
right
think
up
The
to it.
corner boards are white.
Right.
But you
and
see,
it-
they're
and so
never-
would the downspout be white.
It's very historically inappropriate. There never was on the back of this building trim that would come down at that point.
Yeah, there would never be a
But ductwork
conduit
looks
PVC
worse.
either, so
Yeah.
if
Well,
we're
but
gonna
it's
make
just gonna
something
draw-
up, let's make something.
You're gonna draw attention to it in a way that never existed.
And you
The
don't think the mini
building-
split calls attention to the back of this building?
I think what we're trying to do is blend the conduit line into the wall, so it becomes gray like the wall. Because otherwise you're dividing what was a center and two pavilions that did not have trim coming vertically all the way down on the first level.
The other weird thing is, have you looked at this picture where the water is coming out of the gutter and spraying down the side of the
Yes.
house? That could lead to rot, so I think you've got two problems here at that juncture.
And
Where they wanna put the conduit, see how it's wet?
Yeah.
It's not, the gutter isn't working or whatever that is
I mean,
there.
the installation of this HVAC system is definitely going to be a challenge because of everything that exists running the lines across the back of this building.
Is there an active condo association? Do you know?
What does active mean?
Well, somebody
There
pays
is a
the taxes on the
Somebody has
building.
gotta be in charge. I mean, it's
Well,
like
I've
a ship
stated-
of fools over there.
I've stated who that is. There is a person, and it's Dalton Fraser.
All right, so I think we need to deal with this building as a whole instead of,
Right.
Piecemeal.
you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because in that way, if you're gonna put one next to where there is one, maybe you can split the fence with whoever already has one there.
Well, I think the best of it is that we'll set a precedent for what you would like to
Right.
see happen
Yeah.
for the rest of the others.
I agree with
And
that.
so-
Well, I think we ought to push it a little bit more, not that we want to see, that must take place in the back of the historic building on Center Street. It's not like it runs into an alley, because that is it's not an alley.
It needs a whole.
It looks like a
It needs
junkyard.
attention, it needs hardscaping, I mean, it's just dirt and
needs some
crumbly
order.
asphalt, and it's a beautiful building.
I know. I mean, the elevation changes, so it's on a slope, but it would be great if that could be an organized parking area that could get some hardscape and some vegetation.
Beach chair right here.
We can look into
Cigarette.
that.
Yes.
That's a fair
Okay.
question.
Yes.
Yeah, looking at the photo on the top page here, all right, is where the downspout is missing, that's what that water line is, it's been soaked from rain.
Right.
But if you look at the drawing that was submitted, there's a yellow line where they wanna put a 4.5-inch walls up. But it says they wanna put in a gray wall up.
Yeah, so
Actually,
I've just agreed that it would
Wait,
be
let me
cedar.
finish, please.
I'm
Right.
sorry.
All right, yeah. What they can do is make it all white, use a white one, because it had a white corner board coming down anyway.
It did not ever have a white corner board coming down out
What
against
did
the
it
wall.
have?
Shingles, just as you see.
They ripped the wall out for the show, the shingles, the downspout on the outside of shingles. I can see it here now. There's a little pipe coming down there. It shows where it was against the wall, all right? Maybe it leaked, I don't know. But I'm just saying, this here says gray wall up. The gray's gonna stand out with all that white.
She's gonna
Yes,
cover it in cedar.
Get them in white.
We're going to do it as a cedar.
I'm sorry?
We're going to enclose it, case it as a cedar box
No,
to
okay.
weather, natural to
No,
weather.
natural.
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 And everything else is white?
No, it wasn't white, it's gray shingle. The wall is gray shingle.
She's saying that the corner board never came down.
Because it's not a corner at that point, it's just a
Okay,
wall.
fine, then let the color match what's there. It's a simple thing.
That's why
That's
we're
what
just
is she-
matching.
That's why
Because
she
the
wants.
natural will stand out against the white as well as the shingles. So I'm just saying, it's a point to be taken. If you don't wanna take it, don't take it.
Shall we have a motion to begin with? Two. One dealing with this and one asking our administration to be in touch with Fraser's
Okay.
and start working on that before the summer. So can I have a motion?
I guess that's, so the motion is, I understand the second part of that, but the first part is to
put a
To
picket fence.
okay the duct being clad
Boxed
in
in.
natural to weather.
Yes, and the
Okay.
picket fence also natural to weather.
Okay, that's my motion.
Okay, all those in favor of that?
Aye.
Aye. TJ?
Can you say that again?
That the ductwork be
Teamwork.
clad in natural to weather wood to match the shingles, and that the unit itself be fenced in with
Natural to weather picket fence.
natural to weather picket.
Three-sided.
Yes.
Three-sided. Good precedent.
Right.
Is that good with you?
Yes.
Okay, is that, John, is that good with you?
Fine,
To
fine.
begin
Yes,
with?
thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for your time. I know this was a heck of a mess to bring in.
Yeah.
Well,
They
let's hope
made
we can
you
get
do
it.
it.
And they made me do it. Let's hope we can get it tidied up by
You're gonna
summer.
everybody's gonna wanna copy you back there.
Yes.
Come on.
What? What time is it? 7?
This is
Is this
10
Where have you been hiding?
Hello, stranger.
Easy Street. Okay, this is Holly Backus's remark. This is,
We've got Paul Santos as our rep.
yes, I know him.
Just gotta let Terry know.
This is a driveway apron for new parking spot on 10 Easy Street. The applicants are requesting HDC approval prior to DPW approval. Yes, proposed porous pavers, what exactly is that? Materials should be clear. Apron looks to be existing brick flush with road. Need clarification, same pattern. Existing curb looks old. Will it be removed entirely or filed down to be flush? We need more detail. Will the edges of the DW be delineated? Then Hashab says must use existing historical curb if applicable. Does Pickett return no concerns about grass parking? Fence is listed as stockade. It is a type 2. And abbreviated returns, yard, parking, will need its lawn, parking no larger than 139, can't be 139 cars.
no? Parking no larger than 139.1 and 138.18. Those are parcels next to it.
Oh, okay, okay, so I didn't know what that was.
Paul, what do you got?
Thank you. For the record, Paul Santos with Nantucket Surveyors, representing the property owner, Deb Killen, and Bill Lothian. This is the Killen's Real Estate, located at the corner of Cambridge Street and Easy Street. Property address is 10 Easy Street. So we're before you tonight for a, I guess either a hardscape or curb cut application. This falls under the new proposed town meeting article that says that we have to come before this board before we go to the DPW for any curb cut, for curb cuts in the core historic district. This plan also requires approval from the Nantucket Conservation Commission, as we are within land subject to coastal storm flowage, and we're within the buffer zone of Nantucket Harbor. So we have filed the application with the DPW, we have filed an application with the Conservation Commission, and we're filed with you, as DPW cannot act until this board weighs in. So what we're proposing to do is create 2 on-site parking spaces for this building. It's located in the CDT zoning district, which there is no requirement for parking in the CDT district, but the Lothians are looking to get 2 spaces on site. What we would be doing is, this is
the sidewalk, there is a brick sidewalk that runs the entire length of the property. Would be looking to modify that brick sidewalk and install an appropriate curb cut with appropriate handicap ramp access and a depressed curb. So the sidewalk itself would be the exact same material that you have now, which is a red brick sidewalk. Would be depressing the existing granite curb in order to provide an access in and out of the site itself. What we're proposing is a grid or porous paver type system rather than bricking this entire area, similar to the properties to the north. So it would be a porous paver system, which would be a grid that would be buried essentially under a loamed and seeded lawn area. So the area would appear to be loam and seed. It will be loam and seed. However, there'd be a buried grid system that the cars would have support to park on. The area itself is graded back towards the existing structure and not out into the roadway area. Part of the comments that Diane read, I believe, from a meeting that was held yesterday, we would be taking the existing picket fence that runs along the back of the brick sidewalk. We can put a curb return or a return on that picket fence and then provide a tangent section in towards the property. So I can depict that on a revised plan in which there's an existing gate which comes into the main entrance to the building. As a simple step, it's the granite stone step that goes into the existing building. And we provide a return on the fencing and then a tangent section. I don't know how you refer to those at this board, but it would be just a curved gate, I guess, with a straight section at the 7x17 parking spaces. One of the spaces is a smaller 7x17, the other is a 9x20, but we would be providing 2 parking spaces on the site. Total width is 16 feet on the site, and the curb cut opening would be approximately 17 feet on Easy Street. This does not take away any parking on Easy Street. This side of the road is a single yellow line, so there is no parking on both this side and across the street where the Easy Street bulkhead is located. Happy to answer any questions
Yeah, can
that
I
you may
ask
have.
you, on your curb cut sidewalk
Yes.
detail, and they're talking about making the curb, either shaving it off or whatever, where you have the 17 feet for the cars to come in, are you going to sink a curb down low?
Yes, that would be a flush curb at where the existing curb is now.
Right, flush right down to the ground?
Correct.
Okay, and then do you have to replace any of the curbs on either side of that cut?
Well, we'll have to look at the curb itself, whether or not, obviously, I think we don't want to we try to use the curb that's there, whether we can take the existing curb that's out, cut it, flip it upside down so you have a natural face on it, rather than taking a brand new piece of granite cut curb.
Yeah, we would rather see the old curb. Those of us who have been on that committee about curbing on downtown feel very strongly about having the curbs soft and not knife sharp, because all you do is run your tires and get a flat tire. They're trying to get all the curbs done the old way.
Yeah, what we could do in that case, Diane, is actually when they remove that piece of curbing, they could cut it and then flip it so the soft section that's been buried underneath would now come to the top, and that other cut section would be buried. I think they might be able to do it that way, so they can kind of rework it and do it that way. So
because they're having problems with that knife.
No, I know what you're saying. You don't want to see a brand new cut
granite
curb stuck in between that area.
Yeah, you ask Paul.
Okay, I have a comment. We look at the set on the plan, the 3rd page. As you come along Cambridge, come along Easy Street, and at the side of the proposed parking on the house next door, I believe. Here it says stockade fence. Now you turn back to this page here, It shows the front view. And there is no stockade fence. There's a 6-foot board fence and a 38-inch picket fence to match the front. So that, my question, why is it stockade?
That's an error on the plan, John.
Huh?
It's just an error on the plan. So
Error.
we'll fix that. That's not our fence anyway. I think that's the fence for the property next door. So,
Okay. I just wanted-
Nope.
I was on there. All right,
nope,
thank you.
that's,
Abby,
I kind of need more information. I can't imagine, I know that Killen House isn't historic. It's like a 50s, 60s, 70s or something, but it's made to look federal or something. But still, I don't want to see too much hardscaping, and I don't have enough information to make a good decision on this application. Like, I don't know what the sides of the, what the driveway, is it all brick? Is there any greenery, you know, is there a trade-off with the greenery? I just need a little more information to make it
I think
a good.
one thing in there is that grass with the pavers underneath, which makes it look all like grass only when you
yeah,
look
there is no
driving.
hardscape, Abby. So if you go to the end, do you have if you keep going,
This one?
no, there should be some, like, look, there's a grid kind of on the backside.
Oh, I don't have one of those.
We don't have that.
That was submitted, but let me just see what I can.
It's not on any of ours.
Well, the use stated here is going to remain a section of gate and fence in front of the compact parking space.
No, it will be wide open. What I was saying is, I think the recommendation of whatever board was meeting yesterday wanted to see that fence curved in and then brought parallel to where that 7x17. So it'll be completely open. But the fence wouldn't just stop at the parking space.
Well, I have another question.
Well, can I finish?
Okay.
My other point was going to be in, you know, to concur with Abby about getting like a call-out detail and plan view of this area in question, where we have like indications of exactly what's going to be what.
Okay, there is no hardscape essentially with the parking spaces. It's lawn. It's lawn. It's going to be lawn, but it's the driveway area supported with the grid system underneath it.
I see. Okay, I thought it was more of like a paver.
No. That's why that detail that Abby has there. That's what we're doing there. So we didn't want to have to be brick. We knew, knowing the area it's located in, we just wanted to have it, and it was sensitive to what was happening with the Conservation Commission. It's basically a pervious area that can support a car, but it's lawn. It's within
So
that grid system.
It's going to be good for getting rid of water when it
Yes,
comes over.
yeah.
And that
Yeah.
paving
gonna be my
place
next
really
question.
works well, because the house that's at the corner of Orange and Lion Street, he had a whole corner, and it was all done that way. And he drove on it all summer long, and it stayed green.
Yep.
And it didn't grow very high, but
What's gonna happen when the salt water, when we have a storm and it's gonna be?
I don't know, the salt water doesn't kill my grass, maybe it's just used to it.
Yeah, they've had a lawn on that property for a number of years. So, I mean, actually, the flooding in this area is not, believe it or not, is not that bad since where the bulkhead is. But it isn't a flood zone.
Are
like I
they
said.
taking away the brick walkway from the gate to the front door?
No.
Okay, so we need that on the plan too.
Yeah, it's on the plan shows the detail of, it's a standard depressed curve.
No,
detail.
the plan is just asking us for this, and what I think these guys are saying, if I'm not wrong, is we need a plan showing like exactly where the fence is gonna go. Is this sidewalk that's already there to the front door staying?
It's not really a sidewalk, it's more like a little walkway, but.
We need
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. The fence thing came up at yesterday's meeting.
We need a detailed,
I can give you a detail of everything that's gonna happen. Now that I know if they want that fence curved, I'll revise the plan give you a
That
full
would be
detail.
nice to have
And
a quarter-inch scale.
Paul, I know this house has minimal landscaping, unfortunately, but is anything against the house right now? Like, are you gonna eliminate some?
No, there's nothing really there.
You don't want a buffer between the, so we need a more detailed, a blown up to see exactly where the smaller parking, how close that goes to the house, and what's between that, because we're probably going to want a buffer. You don't, I mean, I don't know, I can't imagine.
Yeah, the space is 9 by 20 or the 7 by 6, but the car is not going to be touching the building. There's an irrigation control valve that sits right there. So I understand what you want. We'll get you a little bit more detail and.
All right, motion to hold for more information.
That's all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
I think that's probably how they're gonna have to go.
Yeah.
Because of the coastal resiliency stuff. They don't want any more hard surfaces, right?
No, correct. Yeah, we didn't. Well, believe it or not, this is all filled tide land too. So I've got to apply to the state under a Chapter 91 license, even for the parking, because this is all historic filled tide land. So there's another layer of this at the state level too. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I'm leaving at 8:15.
Okay, well, I hope I am too.
Okay.
We'll take a 5-minute break.
Yep. We've got Ben next.
Oh, and Lisa's here for hers too.
And what about Matt? Is he here for all
Yeah.
of this? And then there's Val Oliver.
No, I'll move mine.
And
I don't-
Shelter 7, he talks
My
about.
friend is playing music at the fairgrounds and I'm
Oh,
sitting here.
it's
dealing with
Tuesday night.
that dumb and line.
Right. What time's he starting?
She. I don't know. That's what I wasn't sure she emailed.
Mr. Marty McGowan was here early. He thought his application might not be heard until around 8, so I believe that's when he's showing up for number
Fabulous, let's just stay till 9:30.
32.
Well, I did show him how to get online to watch the.
He's at another meeting too.
I don't know why this goes so slowly. Why?
Oh, I know.
You got a lot to discuss, Abby.
Yeah.
No, if you ask somebody else, ask the question. We shouldn't ask the question again.
Well, I know. But.
Alright, good luck with that. And I said that Leslie. Called me, but she didn't leave a message.
Ratner.
Okay, then I don't know what to do.
No, I'll deal with it.
You can go.
What? We can actually go.
All right, where's Ben?
Here I am.
He is here.
Since I'm not here before you guys, so we held this, right? So does this come up at the next meeting, or do I have it?
Not till you submit something.
So we want to come back and then we'll have it. Okay. So it stays in the mode.
They'll put it on the.
If you're coming in next week.
Yeah, no. All right, great, thanks.
Right. We saw it. All right. What are we doing for you now? Let's
Got a
see.
little garage studio in the far back
Oh,
corner of the
26
property. Yeah.
What?
That's what we've been looking at.
Well, you know who's not here.
This is John's building?
Yep.
It used to be Porter, Remember Stuart Porter?
Yes, I remember him well. Why do I
Yeah,
remember
and the
him
little
so well?
cottage, and I didn't know this, that little cottage was a move on. And shoot, where did he tell me he came from?
Be a great tree right there, and they took it down.
Yeah, but this house looks so much better now.
Oh, well, yeah.
Oh, yeah. The little guest house. God, now I can't remember where he said he got it from. But anyway. It faced the other way. It was like a normal cave.
Yeah.
He made it kind of a bungalow. It's gonna come to me after I leave. But yeah, that still in that far back north corner there, we put our little garage studio.
Is this,
We haven't started yet.
okay, go.
So existing corner lot here with a funny indent for another property, but we're proposing on the far north, where's that? Oh, actually, no, I'm sorry, my orientation's sideways here, so it's southwest corner, is a little studio way out back there. On the consent list, we got the pool and the shed approved, and now we're just talking about the little garage. And all the details have matched the main house.
That is so funny, that lot. It goes around that one little house.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I don't know when that got chopped up, but yeah, I mean the second dwelling doesn't even really relate to this house. They're on the same property, but they're like they have their own curb cuts and they're kind of on their own thing. It's really weird. Yeah.
So the driveway comes in on Pequot.
Yep.
Okay. And you're working with an existing building.
No, this is a new little garage studio.
Oh,
Are you gonna see this?
this is a cute
From
one up in the
Pequot?
corner.
No, I think it's fine. It's way at the back
I
of the
think
lot.
it's too far off the
I mean,
beaten.
21 feet high, that's good.
All the way back here.
Yeah,
I'm okay with it, Madam Chair.
okay. What about you, TJ? Looks like you're folding up already.
Yeah, I think it looks nice.
I do too. What about you? Okay, Johnny, what do you think?
I have one question on the
Sure.
west elevation. What is the grade?
Oh, that's just like the shade of the porch above, so it's trying to help illustrate that there's a relief there.
Okay, can I have a
Motion
motion?
to approve.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Ben.
All right, the next one is Lisa.
Yep.
He's in Florida.
We have Florida soccer.
So we're at the demo move or the new building? Look at the new
Demo.
building
Let's
first?
start with the demo.
Okay. So the,
It has 80s written all over it.
yeah, I mean, the timber frame is more contemporary than the 80s, was added. But the rest of the house, I think, was a, 80s house. I'm trying to remember who they bought it from.
Remember that brown color that everyone used to use?
Yeah.
Brown?
The roof shingles? Oh, that was a big phase. I'm totally fine with this.
Is that building good? Do you think you'll get somebody to?
I think it's gonna be hard to move because, you'd have to cross over somebody's property to get it out of there, but, I mean, we're advertising it. The right-hand side is a timber frame,
it'd be very hard to probably move without having to cut it up. The left side where it's low could possibly be moved, but
Yeah.
I don't know if, this lot is actually, you have to travel over Brace Young's property to get on that section of Shakamo Road. I'm just not sure he'd let anybody cut the vegetation to get it out of there.
Wait, you gonna hurt the property? They're looking for houses.
We'll see, if somebody's interested, we'll,
All right, so anybody got a problem with the demo of the house?
No.
I was
Demo
built in
move.
1970s. I can't think of the guy's name. But
yeah, I'm trying to remember who they bought it from. Not Silva, no, that's, can't remember.
No. That
Anyway,
was on
motion,
Gardner Road.
motion
Yeah,
to
yeah.
approve, move demo.
Aye.
Aye. All right, so the next one is
It's to replace this
The-
building.
garage studio.
So the concept of the new design is similar to what was there before.
which one is what?
There's a timber frame section to the right, that's a cathedral.
Where is it?
And then a single-story link in the middle, and then a two-story section off to the side that has a couple bedrooms in it.
Make sure John has the right plans. Here, Grace, I'm sorry. This
Oh,
is-
that's the demo.
Okay.
Yeah, that's this one.
There we go. Pay attention.
And
Sign that.
the finish, they own the building next door, which is the Miller, what we call the Miller Barn. And I think we submitted a picture, so where the concept is to match the trim, which is natural. Same window color, and then also the stone on the fireplace. So that the buildings will be using the same vocabulary.
I can start, Madam Chair.
Okay.
I appreciate the, look, that it relates to the house that we just, but in its size and its height. So it's 24 feet high, that's really nice. I have a problem with some of the over fenestration, south elevation and north elevation.
Yeah, I think the south is the only one that you're gonna see. If you look at the GIS map, but
Right, so
I understand.
all those ganged windows, you're gonna get some more pushback from Madam Chair, but what if you were to just take out the middle one on the second floor? You might be able to keep your same
On
layout.
both sides, we thought that on the timber frame, it was nice to have all the, since that's a timber frame on the right, to have the gang, but certainly on the left side, if we had to, we could take away the middle one.
I'm not
The
sure
side
about that
with the-
E window either, but I would like to see the fenestration on north and south, sort of from, quieted down. Other than that, appreciate it.
Great, thanks. No, did you look at the north though, just in terms of where would you see the north from? I think it's gonna be hard, I guess, maybe further down Gardner, but I just don't think it's gonna be really that noticeable. The north is gonna be.
It just looks, especially on that left-hand side, you don't think it seems a little chunky, but,
Are those all skylights or those
There's skylights in the center.
three on the same side?
Again, just due to lack of visibility, just because it's interior to the lot.
This picture we have,
That's the house next door.
next door. I was gonna
Yeah.
say the windows
But
are-
those are, we're proposing natural trim and the same stone fireplace that's on the house next door.
Okay. So.
And they happen to have the half-round window and the timber frame on that building, so that's where that came from. She liked the continuity between the structures.
You ready to begin?
I'm gone.
Gone,
Done.
okay, TJ?
The one thing I'll say is, if you're happy about the south elevation fenestration, And the other really minor thing is on the east elevation, the corbelling on the chimney where the body meets the neck of the chimney there. Usually, I find it aligns with the top facing of the windows usually, if we could lower that down.
Yeah, that's fine.
Very minor thing.
That's fine. And if, let me just say, if everybody else has the same issues with the fenestration, I can maybe remove some of it on the south and come back and.
Okay, that's it.
Can you see this from the street?
That's from that street, yes, but you have to remember there's 4, 6, 8, and Brace Young, and then the street ends. It's very little traveled on that section of Shakmo Road because it dead ends after his driveway.
And I see that there's like a 35-foot setback. Is that gonna get all cleared out?
It's not super vegetated now. I'm sure it'll get vegetated a bit more, but.
Yeah, I think I'm fine with the north, because I really don't think we're gonna see that, but I do agree with these guys on the south, if something could just be tweaked.
You think
Instead
if I
of
took out
all those 3 over 3 over 3 over 3.
What about if I just took out the center window on the second second floor?
Second floor, take out the center window, both sides.
Yeah, I think I can do that. And then maybe with a planting plan, we can come back and look at whether or not it would be.
The rest of the building is so light, those wings make it heavy for.
Yeah, she's very light sensitive.
Johnny, you got to say something?
My knowledge of this property, that when you're going to the top of the Gardner Road, you come up a hill, an incline. And this house is over to the right, almost halfway down the little valley. But if you're looking in, I think you're gonna see those 3 skylights. You gotta go to 1 maybe.
How about one really long one that's 9 feet wide? One really long one that's the width of the 3.
2 foot by 3 foot. That's my only comment. I guess these are those bifold doors that are just below the skylight.
Yes.
I think that skylight's cool and gotta disappear. That's my only comment. Thank you.
Can I offer one more comment?
Sure.
It's going back to your south elevation gable. I just sketched it, and I think it looks a little bit cleaner. Instead of all these windows on the first floor, you reduce it to a 4-gang mold A3 type. That being the only change, I think you could come out okay. I don't know if anybody.
Well, the only thing is, you're saying to turn these 3 into 4?
Yeah, get rid of the phone.
Well, the only problem is the timber frame is gonna come down. The posts are gonna be there.
Yeah, I don't mean to design for you.
Yeah, no, but I think that's why we did the 3. I mean, I'd feel more comfortable getting rid of the upper middle window.
It's okay, it's on the inside.
You said. You said. Did you say it?
Yeah, everyone.
Okay, so can I have a motion?
Motion to approve, omitting the second floor middle windows on
the
south.
Windows on the south.
Left and right.
Through staff. All those in favor?
I was making the motion.
Oh.
You should make a motion. I like to, if the motion was made, I'd like to have it amended to put 1 skylight there. Because those that people want more than 1, they holler, they see somebody else with 3 or 4, they say, why
Okay
you
with
get
that,
'em?
Lisa?
I think for now, can I make the, that I will come back though, once it's framed, because I don't think it's gonna be visible, but sure.
Okay, I'll add that to my motion.
Actually, I'd rather see 3 than 1 big long one, because we have a size of 32 or 34 by something or other. And then you put in 1 that's 9 feet by something.
What do we want Lisa to do? Omit 1
1 skylight on that elevation.
Let's frame it in and
frame
we'll
it in
check it.
and see?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd frame it for the 3 and then have you guys see if you can see the building from the Gardner Road.
good,
We'll make a
good
motion.
idea.
We should hold the application.
No, because I can't start framing it until, you know what I
Well,
mean?
She's going to frame it, and then we're going to view and see if we can see it.
And if you can't see it, then we'll put
Stick
the
with it.
3 in.
Stake up there.
No, I'd rather have the building frame because I don't think the stakes will show you. So,
All right, can you
So
add that to my
all
motion?
the, yeah,
That-
all,
that she's going to come back once it's framed to see if we can see the.
Yeah,
skylight.
Thank you.
middle windows on the south second floor is omitted and one
And then to
skylight
adjust
on
the
north.
sky, I can adjust the chimney per TJ's,
Yeah.
okay.
Aye.
Thank you.
aye.
Aye.
Okay, now 195
Comet Pond, okay.
Comet Pond.
You can't see this from anywhere,
You
and that
can't.
is a fact.
It's very far from anything.
I did the first house
Pat,
that was here
what's her
before
name's,
these
right?
guys.
Oh, you mean before Jemison's
Linda's
bought it?
and Luke's, yeah. The
Yeah.
ginormous 3-car garage.
I like this. I like that it's not over fenestrated. It's such a relief.
This is just for a porch, everything
It's
else
just
is
a
already
porch and
there.
some doors that are under the porch. And we've made a couple of minor window adjustments.
I like the Oval Office.
The Oval Office?
Very nice.
So, TJ, what do you think?
Is the only change that round porch?
Round porch and the doors under it and then relocating a few windows here or there. It's pretty minor.
And this is way back on the lot, but, yeah.
Down a long driveway. You can see, Sanford Farm or something from it, but I think at a really far across the pond or
Yeah.
something. It's really remote.
You got it.
Is this the one where we,
It used to be
Well, we had to-
Gardner's.
Yeah.
but didn't we?
It's a condominium. There's 3 houses
Oh.
on one lot.
Oh,
It's
no.
gotten very fancy since it was Pat Gardner's.
Did somebody make a motion or
Make
just
a
a
motion
comment?
to approve is submitted.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh,
Okay.
John,
You guys are
John's
finishing
not
soon.
ready.
Are you
Wait.
ready,
Oh, you're not ready?
Johnny?
I'm sorry.
Rotten night.
Not yet.
Shows them where we are.
Yeah, what number are we on?
31.
Are you okay, John? Just a porch.
Right, sure. Thank you.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
Thank you.
Marty's not here for 32.
Motion to hold 32 for representation.
Okay.
Aye.
Aye.
Lincoln, Bobinkin. Demonstration revisions. Frustration revisions.
Frustration. Fenestration. You make
Thank you.
What? You got 3?
Lincoln Avenue is fenestration revisions.
What's it saying though?
219.
This is from Holly Backus. Says it is built in 1902. It's contributing the Kimball's built to replace our windows to
SDLs. Oh, is this the same house?
Yeah. 6 windows are true to the historic, 6/1 are true to the historic structure. Please keep the attaching HDC survey. And she has the survey about the windows, 6/1.
I don't think that's the right file, Abby. I don't think those are the right drawings. That's for another project.
12 Brant Point Road.
Same
I'm
street
really
number.
glad I didn't make a fool out of
And
myself.
hashtag says, window survey, if existing windows are modern, no concerns with SDLs. If existing windows are historic, the windows should be TDLs and restored. So, what you got?
So we're just looking to make a consistent window type. Right now, it's a mix of existing and proposed, and we're going to try to keep the existing, just in the effort of not, expanding the scope of the work, but and looking at our options. There's going to be there'll be a difference between the new and the existing, and so we're trying to just make it more consistent.
There's a reason you went from 6/1, which to 2/2,
That is
2/1?
that is
No,
not our
that's not
project.
her project. That's
Yeah.
the one we just looked at.
Yeah, it's a beautiful house.
Oh, sorry.
Definitely a beautiful house, but yeah, we have no plans to change the style of the window whatsoever.
Okay.
Yeah, none whatsoever.
Are
6/3
some of
stays.
them historic, Matt?
I think that some of them probably are. Could be original. Yeah, yeah. And we can take photographs of it.
It said it's a 1902 building.
Yeah, I mean it was. I don't know if you remember, but I guess it was. Yeah, there's portions of it that are from that era for sure. Yeah.
So I do have a question, just because we have existing and we have some windows you're proposing to change, but we don't have what was approved. Are you adding windows?
No, this is specifically just to replace the windows that are existing. So we're not looking to make any fenestration changes. This is what was approved. Just the manufacturer. So it's exactly as was approved previously. Like I said, when we first started the project, the owner was like, I'm like, do we have to? And I'm like, yeah. And just to keep the scope down. But now that we're getting into getting window quotes, the proposed windows that we want, which would match the existing pretty closely, but they're not going to look the same. And so we don't want to have like different window types in the house, both from the inside and the exterior. So.
What about, are there any TDLs?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
there's
they are.
windows.
They're
Well,
TDLs.
but I don't know whether when they put them in,
Yeah,
or
I think
SDLs.
there's decent amount that are probably older. Yeah, they're not in. Yeah, they're True Divided Light. They're all True Divided Light. Some of them were later additions towards the back of the house, but there are some that, again, I would guess were from that 1902 era, maybe a little bit later, 1920s, 30s, something like that. But so I can do a window survey if that'd be helpful.
Well,
again, it's more just trying to get a consistent window type.
So, I'm gonna sound like a jerk, but okay.
Let's hear it.
I'm struggling with this stuff. People buy these old houses and then bit by bit by bit, they pluck everything that's old out of it. And I kind of, we have been pretty consistent about saying anything that faces the street stays.
I had to do it.
So
The original window. And if you want them all to match, maybe you could take some of the ones from the side so that across the front they're all the same window. And then make the rest of them SDL. I mean,
I can certainly look at that as an option.
because I don't think you have to make the energy code.
No, Ray pointed that out.
The ones that I think are going to be the most viewed is the second floor, because the first floor is under the porch.
Mhm.
So I agree with Val, and I think the front of the house has to look, has to have that old flavor.
Okay.
And for some reason, old windows just breathe, they're older windows, even though you can just tell.
Yeah.
It's not a spiritual thing, you can just tell.
It's spiritual. Well, okay, well, why don't I just take your comments and then go back to the owners and the contractor and come up with a game plan.
Can you, I can't remember whether from Jefferson looking up, you could see the back of this 12?
From Jefferson? No.
'Cause you
From
have
the
to-
low, now down by the galley? All that?
Well, it's closer.
In a helicopter.
Yeah, no.
Well, you can see the houses like, what's his name, on the corner of Cobble Hill, Cobblestone. You can
Yeah,
see
no
his
way.
house clear as bell.
I don't think you can.
You
No
can
way.
from Capam.
Capam, you
That,
definitely
but-
can.
Yeah.
But that's the back of the house.
Yeah. But definitely, I don't think, Diane.
No,
from
that's
South-
too far away down
Way
there.
too far, yeah, you're way down lower and it's
Right.
across the street. There's that one, there are those houses that are across the street from this one, on the other side of the circle, and those you can see
Yeah.
some of them from Jefferson, but this one, no way. Definitely from Capon, because it's right on the road.
Well, I think Val's idea of
Yeah.
trading the windows.
I can see if that's possible, and then maybe concentrate just on the main mast or something like that, but I think we can come up with a game plan.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep, thank you.
Now, the next one is Ash Street.
Motion to hold for some revisions.
Yes. And 2 Ash Street is adding dormers.
What are we looking at now?
All right, here is,
Oh, 2 ash.
okay,
Yep.
it is a contributing Greek revival after 1846 fire. It is revisions to number 73273, and you're adding dormers and omit chimney. It was an HDC survey of Lancaster on page 160. Confused on photos provided on other properties, 45 Center 2, Ash Lane, etc. Bring back that porch with the beautiful details. Addition of dormers is not appropriate to the scale of this Greek revival. It's a story and 3/4. And how old is chimney proposed for removal? Which would
just
be
photos
my
of that
question.
porch she's talking
Too.
about.
And
Didn't you already do this one, Matt?
Yep, we did.
Hashab says,
That historic porch.
dormers could be small gables and set back 2 feet. Overwhelming dormers, roof will appear flat. Significant existing fabric will be removed. Chimney is essential to structure's character. Please ask applicant to clarify chimney situation. So, there we go.
Shall I go,
Yes,
Madam
do
Chair?
begin.
So, thank you. So you have seen this before. You did approve a renovation. We actually kept, obviously, majority of the house and kind of we've been working on it from the inside out. The house is actually not in great shape. We've had to do a lot of structural shoring up, but maintaining a lot of the existing fabric. Foundation and the footings were pretty sparse, but we've been able to keep a lot of it, which has been great. There's an existing second floor bedroom where these dormers are proposed. It's been there for quite some time, and it's just the headroom is incredibly low, and it's not very usable. There's an existing dormer of the same style and size that's on A2.2, and if you look at drawing 2, you'll see it in elevation. Again, something that you wouldn't see very often per se if you were designing something new today. However, it is part of the existing structure, and so our intent here was to, you know, mirror that on the other side in an effort to gain more head height. So, you know, definitely open to suggestions on fenestration if it's over fenestrated. We did look at a gable dormer option, and our take was that it just looked inconsistent between the two sides. So we did receive the HSAB and Holly's comments, which were great, much appreciated. And we did show the owners the photograph. We actually looked at this early on, and we did talk about potentially adding it. It really wasn't part of their program initially, but you know, it's something that obviously is a beautiful porch, fairly complex, but you know, if you felt that it supported the dormers in their proposed form, it's something that we would consider. Thank you, Madam Chair. Oh, and as far as the confusion on the photographs, I see what Holly's saying. Like we tried to find examples in the immediate area of structures of certain size and scale. Some of them are less relevant than others, so I understand her questioning why would you put some of these, like there's a couple that are like 2.5 stories, which doesn't have a ton of relevance.
I think looking at these pictures that she was showing dormers on other buildings.
Yeah. I mean, the relevance, like for example, this one's, you know, 2.5 stories, which is different animal.
Could I see the HSAB?
Here's both of them.
Like 45 Center Street. This one doesn't have a whole lot of relevance, I think.
The chimney on this historic photo, is it that one? But it's not outside.
No, it's
You know
not.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it doesn't seem as though that is.
It's not. But
You're not taking this chimney out of the center.
no, it's still in there in our drawing. It should be.
They had initially proposed that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I personally wouldn't even mind dormers, but I think they have to be scaled way down.
Yeah, I was confused about what has already been approved and what, because I think that dormer is.
And I don't see this chimney in the historic photo.
Yeah.
And it has, so I'm okay with that going away too.
Madam Chair, could I just ask for clarification on that dormer? Or I can wait till the end, actually, if you prefer.
These notes?
No, I got those.
Oh.
I was gonna say, is it a matter of, you say scale it back, is it, you know, maybe pushing them back off the face maybe, but sticking with the shed?
I think she said that by 2 feet.
What elevation are you?
Okay, sorry, I'm talking on the east. I push it back slightly and I bring them to maybe just 2 windows, very tight.
Okay.
Yes.
Because this is
this overwhelms that facade, so
Yeah.
I think if they're smaller.
Okay.
It was what, 1864?
Yeah.
Says on the, I think it says on the, says somewhere,
1846.
1846.
Post-fire.
So I think it's important to keep those dormers
Push them back.
small down to the age.
So, on the west elevation, have those already been approved? That whole lift up of the dormer?
Oh, yeah, that's the existing condition. That's been there for some time. And that was the idea that we were, I mean, if
That's
you look
really
actually
horrible.
at the, what's that? It's pretty horrible, but
Just really bad.
it was existing, it was pre, I guess, HDC. Just questioning does it matter if, like, if you look at the north elevation, which is what fronts on the street, the fact that those dormers would be, they wouldn't match, does that matter?
Match what?
You know, the dormer on the right, the profile on the right. If you look at drawing 1 and A 2.1.
Well, they don't anyway, because you have no corner boards and they have a big corner board. and theirs is a 2 and yours is a 3.
Yeah,
So, no.
it should have, we should
'Cause
have a
nobody's
corner
ever
board.
gonna really look at it that,
Yeah.
oh, except on the street, right?
Yeah, okay,
And there
just
are
curious. That was the thought behind it anyway, so we can push it back and reduce the number of windows.
But we're not redoing the porch. Brady?
That wasn't part of our proposal. Holly had mentioned it, and you know I love it. And again, just because it wasn't part of the initial scope, I mean, I'll talk to the owners again. They definitely acknowledge that it's a lovely porch. Again, they don't spend a ton of time out there, and so from their perspective, it just wasn't something that they were planning to do. But we can certainly revisit it.
I would, it's so much
Beautiful.
part of the charm.
Gorgeous.
And it's an old building, I like to.
Yeah.
Just set me straight on what chimney, other than the main chimney, is remaining.
Just a little.
Our proposal was to maintain that center chimney.
And that's all.
That, yeah, we weren't planning to touch that. I know it's shaded as red in our previous.
Right, but
which I
the
think
little chimney on the side with the owl was not shaded, so I didn't know whether that was.
I believe we were approved to get rid of that one.
This one.
Yeah, but what about this one?
Which one?
That one they're asking right now.
To get rid of it?
The little guy in the
This
middle?
one.
No, we're looking to keep it.
Oh, good, I hope so.
It says omit.
Oh, I'm sorry. My mistake.
What, you're
And you're
getting rid of
keeping
it?
that one?
No, that one we already got approved to get rid of, and I guess we are looking to get rid of this one. But this one was not historic.
Right.
Sorry for that confusion. It was clouded, so I thought they were looking at it.
And these are the 2 dormers you're going to,
We're proposing those 2 dormers as new. This chimney is not going away.
right,
Yeah.
but, and this, we have suggested to you that this dormer be brought in.
Yep, push it back and reduce the number of windows.
And like tight, like a.
If it fits in there.
Right.
So just like make it look good, what you're saying?
Yeah.
Johnny, what?
No corner boards, huh, Matt?
You know what, I think, we're not showing them. The ones on the existing dormer are those really wide ones, which we wouldn't do, so.
Right.
We can do corner boards. I don't see why we wouldn't do them, to be honest with you.
Johnny, have you got something you'd like to say?
Yes. Yep, I see what I want. Thank you.
Okay,
Oh,
so we,
look at the conduit on this building.
Are we gonna ask for
Holy
revisions?
moly.
to,
That's
I
right.
don't know,
Motion to hold for revisions?
okay,
Number 2, Ashley.
Tighten up those dormers.
Tighten them.
next is 90, is 70, is 87 Skyline.
No. Yeah, same street. Okay, so.
Just a few minutes.
Wow, where's this building? Is this the site that has the church in the summer?
Nope.
It's not?
Right next door. I believe there's going to be now 2 churches catty corner to the property.
Oh, so it's not this piece? It looks like it's all one piece.
No,
It's
the
owned
2
now by-
pieces, one I think was Russell Simpson just sold, which would be to the northwest, and then directly north is, I'm not even, I live there, I'm not really familiar with the owners, but that would be where the existing one that is done under the tent in the summertime.
Yeah, he's done that for years and years.
I've been there for 12 years, so probably at least 6.
Oh,
anyways.
more than that, because I hadn't worked for the post office and that was on my route.
Well, maybe it just wasn't as loud
And I
then
had to,
in the beginning.
his mailbox was on the side, the black one. And they had such a good time in the summertime.
Yeah.
We can look starting point?
Sorry?
He's finally gonna do this.
It's right there. John. It's kind of right in the crease. It's hiding. Yeah, well, I know, I got nervous there for a second. I can give a brief summary, Madam Chair, if you prefer.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
tell us about it.
Yeah, so,
Alex Weldon.
so this is a barn. It's an agricultural use. It's pretty straightforward. We've got 6/6 windows. We do have the board and batten siding, and the goal was it is going to be an agricultural use, and thought that the architecture reflects its use, and it's basically a barn. Pretty straightforward. Tried to maintain a certain amount of proportion in terms of its pitch and dormers. We do have a drive out or basement access, which is shown on A2.1 on the south elevation. Again, I don't think that's going to be all that visible. We did show the railing detail. We will need to provide some protection from the drive out, if you will. We've got pent roofs, brackets, but other than that, it's fairly straightforward barn structure. So looking forward to your comments. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Alrighty. TJ, you look as if you already set.
I don't sit on that application.
Oh, that's right.
You missed it.
Matt, is where the drive under is gonna be retained, cause that's not a slope lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's 42 feet high.
Height, why is the building so high?
It's the height if you measure it from the drive out, that's just the height. I guess if you add the additional height of the basement, you're gonna get something over 30 feet. The building is not higher than 30 feet from grade. If you measure from the drive out, you're gonna have the additional height, but it's just at that drive out section.
I might have to, I don't really know this area, so I don't know if there are other buildings this tall around there.
I would say it's not. I think to say that it's 42 feet tall is not accurate at all. This building is not.
You're gonna dig out the bottom or something?
Well, there's one section where it's like a drive out, so just one section of it, where you literally can drive a car down into it. But if you're looking at it from grade, you would only see from grade above it.
Where are they gonna have to dry it? Around and back?
If you look at the site plan G1.1, you'll see where it's shown. We've got it
out at the end of the airport.
Yeah.
Abbey,
Look in the
where
bottom
the
left.
airport disappears, going back on Manhattan, and it's down. And right across that is a big field. Lily Baker lives at the corner of Webster and Manhattan.
That doesn't help me. I have
Do you know where
driven.
the jets are usually parked?
Yeah, right across from where all the private jets park in the
I know
center.
that road that saddles along the airport.
Yeah, that one. So
That's
right on the other
Manhattan.
side. Yeah, it's the
Okay.
street.
So this is gonna be viewable.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I think, yeah.
Where he said, show
Which I
them
think
that.
clearly.
Where
You think
which side
jets
drive
aren't
out?
gonna
I don't think exactly. Well, it's funny if you look at there's an
Yeah, that's
airport
right there, but
structure
it's
which is
right
right near where the jets usually park, and it's completely. It's an interesting building, but it's got vertical metal siding on it. It's completely contemporary structure with no pitched roof.
Yes.
So I would submit to you that this area, while a nice area, also is pretty
Windows
varied.
like that.
Obviously, you've got the airport right across the street with a number of different large-scale structures. I actually think that this building would be a nice. Oh, that's a great shot. Thank you.
And, I mean, you could think about it as the first 10 feet of it being completely underground. And it's really only.
Yeah, it's gonna look like a barn. I actually think it'll be a nice addition. It'll be a nice contrast to the airport across the street. I think it's got a rural and agricultural architectural
It
language.
does to some extent, except it has big, huge dormer.
As you go a little bit further, you come to Evergreen. And as you go in Evergreen,
This building is the left side.
that is a farm that's John Kane's, and he sells eggs.
Looks like.
That's a very modern looking.
Where's
building.
yours? Is this where you?
Yeah, right south of the 87 skyline button where there's those boats there. If you zoom in, yeah, right there. So there's quite a bit of, especially in the summertime, stuff that blocks that area of the property from the street.
What's the
Come on,
color?
it doesn't block it very
Natural.
much. It's wide open, and where you drive out
window
to the
color?
basement is, you see it going up towards the airport, you see it going the other way.
I don't know if you would see, only because we have to put a fence along either side of it, and so we've got that fence detail. You'll see a cutaway section of it. So the goal is to actually not, I mean, I don't think Alex wants people, you know, in terms of like the visibility, there's always a sense of like privacy. I definitely think that you will see
Like
the
a
building
horse fence.
from the first story or second story up.
Says
But again,
maybe.
I think that as a building, it'll be a nice accent. I mean, I love barns. I love the way the barns look, and I think when you see them in the landscape, they
I
can be
like
pretty
barns
beautiful.
too, but
Yeah.
Simple
this
barns.
seems
So,
to be
Matt,
more than a barn.
It says, natural sash.
I don't know, what it was.
Everything says natural.
Yeah, I think it's all natural trim. I think that if it's a, we're not looking to do a wood window, are we? No. No. So then it would probably be like a terratone.
And what about the roof?
Usually do like a 3-tab.
Yeah, 3-tab
It
architectural.
says natural.
No, it shouldn't be natural.
But each horse has his own window.
There's no horses in there.
Maybe,
That's gonna
you
be
never
an
know.
event barn.
You don't want to do a wood roof, do we?
No.
So just be a gray, I would say a gray 3-tab architectural, or architectural.
Where's our, yeah. The colors. Yeah.
I can update the application, Val.
Does anybody want to go and view it?
Nah.
Do you like the cupola on top of the barn? These are questions.
I like the cupola. Can it be, does it have to be shingled? Can it just be like barn, like the rest?
Yeah, isn't it?
It's, you can have it shingled.
Oh yeah, that's no, on these guys, it's the.
Shingled over here.
It's actually,
Over
we're,
here.
we're showing it as shingled. If you don't have an issue, you can just make it batten.
Are you talking about the cheeks of the dormers?
Yeah, right here.
No, no,
Oh,
no.
okay. Up on the, yeah, that can be the same as everything else.
Are you okay with terratone? It's like with the sash color. Could do like a black, green.
Yeah.
Terratone for now.
I just
I'm
wrote
not exactly sure
terratone.
what terratone is.
It's like a brown. It's like closest thing to natural.
Okay.
I would say I'm guessing that you'd be fine with like any.
Yeah, the goal is to make it look, is to keep it all, you know, natural and of what a barn would look like after a couple of years when it's all weathered. Nice and gray and.
Yeah. Johnny, have you got something you'd like to say?
I'll say terratone.
Yes,
and
I
then
like
change it to like a gray or a black.
Yeah.
And the
Abby's
big
gonna
doors will
read
be
it.
natural.
Yes.
Okay.
This is all open on the inside.
Or there's no structural plans yet, but yeah, it'll be open on the inside.
Okay, this is one of the few structures that I've seen that I say that being board and batten and board and batten siding all the way around, nice doors and windows, that it would look like a barn because it has the cupola gives it that also. Usually I am not a cupola man.
Make a
but-
motion, John.
I'm sorry?
Make a motion, let's go.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Well, I'm always the last one you talk to in here because you people don't talk to me.
No, I'm happy that you're making a positive note on this because I'm.
All my notes are positive.
Oh.
Have you got any other?
Okay, is there, what's the? What was I gonna ask? Oh, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 arches. Right. And you know, Master, how I feel, but my own opinion, we usually 45 these and not arch them, unless you've already got an old house that's matching. But you automatically take the board on a 45-degree angle.
I've got no problems with that.
Yeah, and beyond it, the rest of it is nice. Now,
Okay, I have a motion.
Going down, down here, okay, yeah. This slope down here underneath, right? Okay, my question is, what material is it gonna be, you know?
The ramp itself will be concrete, but then on the sides right here, if you look at
The retaining wall.
yeah, the retaining wall will be veneered with probably like a railroad tie or a
Yeah, probably.
well, that's I'd rather have it veneered with wood than
He doesn't ever.
total concrete.
Oh, that's cool. John, make a motion.
Come on, let's go.
I'll make a motion to approve it, it's one of the most appropriate looking barns.
All
that
those
been
in
built
favor?
Aye.
in years.
Aye.
Aye.
But I was talking.
You made a
I
motion.
never interrupt you.
I thought you were making a motion.
I am making, but I haven't even finished with the motion.
No, I'm finished.
I don't know. Anyway, I'll make a motion to approve it
Okay, thank
as
you.
submitted.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay,
You don't
so
get hammer tomorrow.
Yeah.
we got 11
If only
Meadow,
it were
Yeah.
that easy.
You got it.
11 Meadow Lane again.
Excuse me, Madam Chair.
Yes.
A point of information. If TJ leaves, can we still vote on the consents
yeah,
without him? If it was
Vote on the what?
consents
Vote it up,
without
right?
him, we can we? Because John will be recusing and she'll have to recuse, so it'll just be you two? It'll be 2 to 1, meaning John.
Oh, because we didn't do the consent.
All right,
Let's do it right now,
yeah.
quick.
Do
Okay,
you
do
mind
you-
that?
No?
Yeah,
Just hold on for a second.
okay.
I have a motion to approve.
Tell John what's going on.
So we're approving the consents, which we held because we didn't have a quorum. So I am asking for a motion to approve the consents
I'm
as
gonna have to
printed.
sit out on number 5, if we can excuse that.
Yep, all right, holding number 5.
Holding number 5.
That's my
Sun
motion.
Island,
No,
we're gonna view it.
no,
Right.
no,
No, this is for consents, John.
Oh, I'm sorry, let me go back up here.
Yeah.
So all we're doing is holding it to approve it without,
Motion to approve,
14 Equator Drive?
No.
omitting number 5.
okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all right. And,
And then you'll have to approve number 5 without.
yeah, I just wanted to make sure there was nothing on consent with the conditions.
Yeah.
Now I need a
I'll make a
motion to
motion.
approve number 5.
That's so moved.
Aye.
Aye.
And then consent with,
What about the
consent with
consent
conditions.
with conditions?
There's nobody on it that's here.
We might as well
Well, let's just do it. Motion to approve consent with conditions.
Aye.
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 Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you, TJ.
You too, thank you
Entertaining.
for coming. Okay, so now we're 11 Meadow.
Sounds so pretty.
No.
Haven't we done 11 Meadow?
You know, you actually have done the house next door,
Oh, did I grab the wrong
and
one?
confusingly
Sorry.
enough,
The
the
next
property.
one is 55 Hummock Road.
No, I know, but it's,
Yeah, they, so
No, this
Diana,
is
it
the
was,
right
originally all called 11 Meadow, and then when they assigned the
okay, this
addresses.
was the second.
Yeah, but
Okay.
ironically, the first one that you've approved is now called 11 and a half, and this is called 11, because those are the addresses
This
they were
is the
given.
littler house, isn't it?
This is, no, it's a second lot, complete lot, so,
All right, well, let's do 55.
Oh, we are doing.
It's
I can-
behind that big house, that.
and right next to Hawthorne Park.
Yeah.
Let's give you a quick, so this is basically it's a loggia, it's just an outdoor structure. And if you look at the site plan, you'll see that it sits behind the existing house, like Val had said. And it's
Help us know a relation of the
a
original
single-story
Rattler.
structure, it's only 16.7 tall.
It's adorable.
Yeah, good luck. Thank you.
It's
So-
on Meadow Drive and it's adorable. I love it.
All right, Johnny,
One question, 55 Oak Pond Road. Goes to an auxiliary structure. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all right, the next one is 11 Meadow Lane.
Who made that motion?
I
Nobody
did.
did.
I did.
Let me get mixed up, okay.
Stand up because my hips are killing me.
Okay. I can give a brief summary if you prefer, Madam Chair.
Okay,
So this is, as you pointed out, the house next door you had approved. This is a new dwelling, a separate lot. We tried to have the design be contextual, not a full two-story, story and a half. 2/2 windows, trim color is white. We tried to keep the massing fairly simple. The house next door is just a straight, wider gable. We actually spent a lot of time how these two houses are going to kind of play off of each other, but we thought this was a nice contrast in terms of scale. Fairly straightforward design, so looking forward to hear what the board has to say. Thank you.
Did you bring what the other one looks like, Matt?
I didn't. I shouldn't have even
it's an
mentioned
L
it.
shape, right?
The other one, yeah, if you look at the site plan,
Oh,
you'll see.
that was the one with the skinny trim.
Yeah.
And that,
And we saw it every week
this, yeah.
for ages, right?
What's that? I mean, it didn't go. It wasn't too bad. I mean, we had like the outbuilding, we had the garage.
And the little overhang things
Yes.
that, yeah, so.
So,
It's just
Chair,
like the houses are getting huge
should I
over there.
recuse, because I'm not going to be here for the next, like, month. And I think you're going to have revisions on this, so I think
All right.
you might want someone to mull in on this.
Okay,
Maybe I shouldn't open it up.
all right, is that?
Because
just
I
three
just
of
got
you?
a feeling there are gonna be revisions.
Matt,
Yeah.
do you wanna hold it?
You wanna hold it for next week?
I mean, I could. I mean, I honestly don't. I mean, you know, the other house I know had some elements which this does not have.
But it's 29 feet tall. And I'm thinking of that neighborhood was mostly like.
A viewing would be helpful because there's that
yeah.
house that's right on the corner that was just done, which is not that great.
Well, let's-
It's just
No, right.
terrible. I mean, not terrible. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's a Huntington.
And it's just it's
Yeah.
very simple and it's a full 2 stories.
You're
And,
right.
and it's the angle of it. So
right.
even though that this is 29, it's definitely a story and a half. And we really try to drop the scale. If you look at the south elevation from the road, really that eave, it's one continuous eave. We didn't really want to have it, the break, if you will. We really wanted to have it be mostly roof. I think that's the south elevation. Yeah. You can
Is the
kinda-
other house there?
Yeah. It's up
Yeah,
and done.
would you mind if we looked then?
I think it would be actually really helpful.
Okay.
All right,
To
so
your
it-
point, we definitely didn't do any of those like brise soleil covered details. There's really nothing on this house that's pushing the envelope at all.
Well,
It's-
why don't we have a view?
Sure.
All those
sure.
in favor? Aye.
What was the motion?
To have a
View.
view of this house.
You.
Okay, next one is quick,
It's
12 Brad
French. It's
Point.
basically like a kind of like a pergola. Filter's light.
Oh.
I think it literally means filter.
What's the
sun.
name of it?
Brise soleil. BRES soleil.
Hey, Abby, do you wanna look at this or no?
No,
Okay.
Where are you going for a month? Better not be warm and sunny.
I'm going to an unexotic place, and I'm not very proud of it.
Abby's
So,
not looking at this one either.
I'm going to
12 French.
Florida.
We just did 11 Meadow.
All right, 12 Brant Point is not contributed. No concern.
Okay.
Match existing. Are you listening?
No. he's not.
You want to listen? We're trying to get through in a hurry now. Eve lines compete with house. Higher, second floor deck concerned if visible. Dormers are too large. Building is very vertical in appearance. Please send back through a SAP.
What number? Is this 7?
Brant Point, guest house on Brant
Oh.
Point Road.
new guest house.
So, can I just give a brief summary, Madam Chair? This is kind of unique. If you look at the site plan, this house was designed, I think, probably in the early 2000s, or
Turning in your.
and it's got kind of a unique design. And
Bye, Abby.
the goal here is it's
See
an
you
upside
tomorrow.
down house, and so what we're proposing to do is actually link the two structures with the decks, because it's got a deck that
That
wraps
deck
around
here?
it. In the back, yeah, but it sits in the back of that house. And so what we did as part of our submission is to just show you the footprint of the existing house. And so we've got elevations that show both houses in tandem, but then also the cutaway sections of the proposed guest house. So I just think it's relevant to point out, because the idea behind this structure is that it's like integrated to the existing structure. It does sit behind the dwelling. The dwelling is visible from, exactly, yeah, so we would be connecting right to that. And that's on the back of the house. It's a
Right.
very small, fairly small footprint. And I think that if you look at, for example, sheet A 2.0, you'll see the two structures and how they play off of each other. We intended to match window types, trim details, railing details, et cetera, et cetera. Again, south elevation of the main dwelling, you'll see that that is the primary elevation and what is visible. And this structure really isn't that visible from, it's because it sits behind it, if you will. So anyways, this one might also be worth a view, but fairly simple structure in addition, so.
I
with
was
that,
thinking you might be good.
Matt,
yeah,
I agree with everything except that the deck is ginormous on the second floor.
mhm.
Is there, could you cut it back so it ends at the main structure second floor? It doesn't do anything.
Where would you cut it? Can you show me on plan where I could cut it?
Because when you're looking at the east, it's like, holy guacamole. And that, the deck is bigger than the house. Can't it just end right here?
This part is existing. This is all existing. That deck actually really wraps around.
On the second floor?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I showed you a picture. Where's the
It's
picture?
upside down house. Back in the day.
Say no more.
Do you want to look at it?
No, because I remember when he was doing the house, you can't really see it back there. It's just
No.
the poor neighbor's gonna have to look at all that railing.
John, do you have anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, this is the main dwelling, right?
Yes.
What are they doing to it, if you don't wanna know?
So it's actually, we're adding a freestanding, well, not freestanding, but a separate structure, which is shown here.
There's nobody else
and
here.
You can see it just behind here, so like this area, you can kind of see it behind. That's,
Yeah,
Oh, it's connected on
because
that.
it's otherwise it's John and me.
Oh, right, I can't.
Let me take a look. Where's the rest of it?
the rest of it.
You want me to move it to
So these are the
Thursday? I
cutaway
mean,
sections. If you wanted to look
Tuesday,
at
next
this
Tuesday.
one, you see, so this
Don't
is
point
the,
to anything Thursday because the kids are still
Duh,
at
'cause
school.
it's only you two.
you can't see it from here.
I don't want to meet
Well, you
Thursday.
can, I'm sorry, if you flip back.
No, meet Thursday.
We got, it's called, it says proposed. And then here.
That's it?
All right.
I,
Anybody have anything to say?
Motion to approve.
It's just the three of us, so all those in favor of approving say aye.
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 Okay.
And
right.
so that is
Yeah.
it. And Valerie,
Can't do mine because we don't have a quorum.
we don't have a quorum.
Thank you very much.
So thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
So, we're going to hold that, and I don't see anybody else here.
No.
So we're going to hold everything else. We're going to hold 39, 40, 41, and 42.
And we already held 32, right?
Yes.
You don't have
Sons
to
and
review all
Gardner.
those, right?
No.
No, okay.
No.
what was that, Valerie?
No, we're holding the rest because,
The four, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Oh. So, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Approved.
All in favor of my motion? Aye.
Aye.
Wait a minute, I gotta catch up. I lost my hearing and I lost my eyesight.